You are watching, oi. I got proper loaded, and now they're all swearing loyalty to me. At Li Xiao's home, Li Meng says, Sis, are we cooking dinner at home tonight? Li Xiao says, Sure, I'll pop out and get the groceries now. Li Meng says, Should we invite Shen Yuan over for dinner too? Li Xiao is shocked and sweats while she blushes. Li Meng says, Just message him to come over. It's our way of saying ta. He really helped a lot today. Li Xiao says, What are you playing at? She thinks to herself, just thinking about his bad boy smug look makes me want to take a bite out of him. Remembering the time Shen Yuan was with her in the kitchen, Li Meng says, Sis, obviously I'm helping you test him out. What else could I be doing? Li Xiao, blushing, says, I'll give him a bell then. She sends a message to Shen Yuan saying, Shen Yuan, Li Meng really appreciates your help moving today. We'd like to invite you over for dinner. Please do come round. Shen Yuan receives the message and thinks, What kind of peach blossom disaster have I walked into today? So many birds hitting me up. Even a time management master'd be overwhelmed. Screw it. Biting off more than I can chew only tires me out. Better politely knock back Hui Wei and Coach Lu. A few moments later, at Li Xiao's home, she opens the door and says, blushing and sweating, Come in, have a seat. Dinner'll be a bit yet. He steps inside, looking around appreciatively, and says, All right, I'll make myself at home. You crack on. As Shen Yuan watches the sexy figure of Li Xiao while she nips quickly back to the kitchen, he thinks, As expected of a counselor, she's made the place feel proper cozy already. He walks towards the kitchen. Shen Yuan says, Where's Li Meng? Li Xiao says, She's having a shower. She continues towards the kitchen. Shen Yuan, tentative, says, Oh. Li Xiao turns to Shen Yuan and says, Shen Yuan, do not come over here. Shen Yuan says, What you so nervous about? I just want to see if I can lend a hand. He takes a step closer. Li Xiao says, There's no need, really. The food's almost done. Go and chill in the living room. Shen Yuan says, It's fine. I'll keep you company in here. He takes a few more steps closer. Li Xiao, exasperated, says, Okay, this is close enough to talk. Honestly. She looks away, blushing. Shen Yuan, smiling, says, Close. There's still half a meter between us. Li Xiao, blushing, says, Shen Yuan, what are you trying to do now? Shen Yuan grabs her close, pressing her soft, huge chest against him, and says, Nothing at all. Li Xiao says, My sister's here too. Shen Yuan whispers to Li Xiao, She's in the shower, right? Girls take ages in there. No way she's done yet. As he plays with her behind, Li Xiao, panicked, says, No, Shen Yuan. Not there, as Shen Yuan kisses her while playing with her tummy. Li Meng, calling out, says, Sis, I'm done with my shower. Is dinner ready? Li Xiao pushes Shen Yuan away. Shen Yuan says, It's fine. Don't panic. Li Xiao fixes her strap and says, You can't do this again. If you keep acting like this next time, I will. Shen Yuan says, You know how I feel about you, counselor. A few moments later, at the dining table, Shen Yuan says to Li Xiao, Counselor, your cooking's bang on. Gordon Ramsay might adopt you as his daughter. Li Meng, not amused, says, Stop with the flattery. My sister's not buying it. Shen Yuan, I've got a few questions for you. Shen Yuan says, Sure, fire away. Li Meng says, How many girlfriends have you had? Shen Yuan says, 2. Why? He sweats, thinking, Feels like an interrogation, but yeah, only 2 I've made public. 1 from high school and Joe wanting. The others, no one find out. Li Meng says, Oh, so your dating record's pretty full. She thinks, My sister's never dated before. If she meets someone too experienced, she might get taken advantage of. Shen Yuan sweats and thinks, Only 2, and that's pretty full. If she found out about Hui Wei, Nana, and Lulu, she'd probably cough up blood. Li Meng says, Do you have any siblings? Shen Yuan says, A younger sister. Li Meng says, How old? Shen Yuan says, In her final year of 6th form, she's 18 10 minutes later. Shen Yuan thinks, finally done with the questions. Since Li Meng's trying to suss me out, that must mean the counselor's told her about me. He looks at Li Xiao, he thinks. Looks like Li Meng's slowly warming to me. That's a good sign, right, counselor? And raises his foot, playing with Li Xiao's ankles. Suddenly, Li Xiao's face drops red as she sweats nervously. Li Xiao, nervous, thinks, Shen Yuan, you dare pull this stunt right under Li Meng's nose? Totally underestimated your nerve. She stands up and tries to smile, saying, You guys go ahead and eat. I'll just go and wash some fruit. She rushes off, worried Li Meng will notice. Shen Yuan says, looking at his phone, No need, counselor. It's getting late anyway. You've had a tiring day sorting the place. You should rest. I'll head off after dinner. No need for fruit. Li Meng is confused and thinks, Something's off with my sister today. She's quieter than usual. Isn't a girl supposed to be happy when she's with the bloke she likes? Li Meng says, Are you sure you don't want to stay a bit longer? Shen Yuan says, Nah, I've got things to do. He stands up and thinks, Better to quit while I'm ahead. Don't want to annoy the counselor. Time to prep for the next battlefield. After Shen Yuan leaves, Li Meng stretches her arms and says, Sis, I asked everything. Things you wanted to ask and things you didn't. My advice, test this bloke more. Li Xiao remembers all the instances she and Shen Yuan were alone in a room and thinks, Sure, Shen Yuan's more mature and independent than most blokes, but he's just way too daring. We're not even in a relationship yet, and he already dares to act like that. In a different scene, at Chen Na's apartment, Chen Na says, Shen Yuan, didn't you say you'd pop by the cafe and try my coffee? What's the rush? Shen Yuan pulls her inside and says, Do you still have that grey business suit and black stockings? Shen Na says, Why? She sweats, watching Shen Yuan open her drawer. Shen Yuan says, Take a guess, didn't you say tonight was a proper make-up session? You told me to trust your character, forget already. Chen Na says, It is proper. I'll be making up for several 100 million at once. Chen Na says, I didn't mean that kind of compensation. A few honest later. Chen Na puts on her sexy work clothes from the car dealership and looks away blushing, saying, Shen Yuan, why are men like this? Shen Yuan says, You'll understand someday. As he moves closer, Chen Na says, 1.5 hours later. Chen Na feels all the compensation from Shen Yuan from behind as her whole body trembles in pleasure. A few moments later, Chen Na, exhausted, rests on the bed. Her heart rating towards Shen Yuan is at 90. Shen Yuan thinks, Holy, broke past 90. No wonder this kind of exercise is so effective at boosting affection points. System notification says, Affection level mission complete. Secondary female character's affection exceeds 90. Reward incoming. Shen Yuan thinks, Let's see what crazy prize I get this time. Length increase. XX. 5 million car shopping credit. Exclusive skill pack voucher times 1. Shen Yuan, shocked, thinks, What the heck? Length increase? Seriously? That's even a thing. Let me check out this legendary man-only weapon card. What kind of cheat buff does it offer? Shen Yuan, grinning, thinks, Sorry, Nana, you'll have to hang in there tonight. Chen Na, still exhausted, sits up and says, Shen Yuan, what's going on in there? Shen Yuan says, Nana, didn't you just ask why men love seeing women dressed like that? Well, this is your answer. As Shen Yuan continues to give her more compensation, Chen Na feels more intensity as her whole sexy body sweats and trembles from it all. A few seconds later, Chen Na shouts in pleasure, Shen Yuan! Chen Na weakly rests on the bed, her skin trembling in pleasure, and says, Shen Yuan, why do you feel different this time? I feel like my body's been hollowed out. Shen Yuan, smiling, says, Different how? As he stares at her beautiful face. Chen Na says, just different. Shen Yuan says, there'll be more surprises for you later. Chen Na says, as she finally rests. Shen Yuan thinks, Nana's state right now is like the highest praise a man can get. If this keeps improving, maybe something explosive will happen next time. He looks at the system and thinks, all right, let me check what this exclusive skill card actually does. System notification says, this skill card allows you to choose and activate one of the following skills instantly. Basic cooking, basic dance, basic combat, basic home appliance repair, basic racing, basic hairdressing, basic basketball. Shen Yuan thinks, huh? What's with these? I guess appliance repair makes sense, but hairdressing? Really? If I have to pick one, maybe combat. Even in a lawful society with money and women around, you never know when you'll meet a threat. But what if the councillor's telly breaks one day? If I had appliance repair skills, I could go fix it and spend more time with her. He imagines Li Xiao and says to her, Councillor, I've fixed everything. If anything breaks again, call me right away. Councillor Li Xiao says, you look tired and sweaty. Here, let me wipe you down. She bites the good morning towel and seductively says, all over too. As she opens his pants while blushing, Shen Yuan thinks, yeah, appliance repair might be the best choice. His eyes blazing in flaming determination, steam coming out of his nose. He thinks, I reckon I've sussed out the reward pattern from that system daddy. Each girl seems to give better rewards than the last. The next one hitting 90% affection should be even more rewarding. Shen Yuan, excited, thinks, who's next to reach 90? I'm getting well excited. Chen Na's phone suddenly rings. She sits up and answers, hello, Mum. What? That serious? Is there enough money? Want me to transfer some now? I'll come over right away. Okay, if anything comes up, tell me straight away. Shen Yuan sat up and ran his hand over Chen Na's soft, delicate back, saying, Nana, what's happened? You can tell me, love, Chen Na said, tears streaming down her face. My dad, he had a stroke from drinking too much. He already had high blood pressure, she continued. It's my fault. They kept asking me to come home for matchmaking, and I refused. If I'd gone, maybe he wouldn't have got so upset and drunk that much. Shen Yuan said, Are you heading back home? Chen Na said, I'll go in the morning. Driving at night's not safe. Shen Yuan said, Right, whatever happens, I've got your back. Chen Na thought to herself, Shen Yuan really cares about me, but we're not properly together. If my dad's ill, bringing him home wouldn't be right. She said aloud, I'll go by myself. It's fine. Shen Yuan said, If you need money or help with transferring hospitals, just give us a shout. I'll sort it. Chen Na said, Thank you, Shen Yuan. The next morning, Shen Yuan reads the note Chen Na left, which says, Breakfast is already on the table. He said, She even made me brekkie before buggering off to visit her family. She didn't have to do that. What a thoughtful bird. She's not materialistic like Coach Liu, or possessive like the class beauty. Nana really is the ideal woman. Suddenly his phone buzzes. He said, Fu Yingzi? This early? What's she after now? Fu Yingzi opens a video call and says, Shen Yuan, the office is all cleaned up. I've sent you pictures of some furniture sets. Pick whichever you like and I'll pop to the store. Shen Yuan said, You choose, I'm easy with any of them. Fu Yingzi said, Okay, I'll get right on it. Once it's ready, I'll update you approximately. Shen Yuan thought, She's pretty good. No idea if she's competent yet, but her enthusiasm's a bonus. Meanwhile, Feng Zigui argued, Yingzi, what now? Fu Yingzi said, Nothing, could you just stop following me? Even earlier, no one asked you to clean. I told you not to help, and you just barged in. Feng Zigui said, Come on, Yingzi, I just wanted to lend a hand. Fu Yingzi walked away and said, Help with student council work. You're not even part of it. And stop trailing me or I'll properly lose my rag. Feng Zigui cried, thinking, 3 years chasing her, and I lose to a bloke she met yesterday, just because he's good-looking and minted. Fu Yingzi thought to herself, that startup base is a loss-maker. If Shen Yuan casually chucked in 10 million, he clearly doesn't give a toss about money. His net worth must be over 100 million. Feng Ziguai shouted. Yingzi, wait up, Fu Yingzi thought. He's the same age as me, 21. Do you know how mental that is? She imagined Shen Yuan touching her back and saying in the office, "What's on the menu today?" She blushed and thought, even if I can't be his girlfriend, I could be a secretary or something. A bloke like that definitely owns more than one business. I need to prove my abilities and my unique traits if I want to stay by Shen Yuan's side. Meanwhile, in Nana's hometown, Nana said, "Mum, let's go to the hospital." "Didn't you say Dad had a stroke?" Chen Na's mother said, "Nana, come inside first, let's have a chat." They walked into the living room. Chen Na's mother said, "We didn't mean to trick you. You're turning 27 next month, and you still haven't got a bloke. Your childhood friends already have kids. Your Chen Na's father was just worried," Auntie said excitedly. "Nana's back. Come, let me introduce you. This is Dong Qitao, the one who drank with your dad earlier. He came all the way from Zhishi. He's a mate of my son. He owns his own company, manages dozens of staff, and has an annual turnover over 10 million. Bought a house and car outright." "Qitao, what car do you drive again?" Qitao said humbly, "Nothing flash, just a BMW 5 Series. Chen Na said, "Not bad." She thought, it's not about the car, it's the thought that counts. Qitao took out a box and opened it. Inside was a gold ring. He said, "Auntie, I brought some gifts for you and Uncle. Hope you like 'em." Chen Na's mother said, surprised. "Even something for me?" Qitao said, "A small gold piece from Lao Miao jewelry, pure gold, just over 3,000 yuan. Chen Na's mother said, "Oh my, over 3,000, and you call it not expensive." Auntie said, "See how thoughtful he is. Definitely a future filial son-in-law." Chen Na's mother said, "Hey, yes, yes." Chen Na's father said, "Don't just stand there, come sit, let's have a natter." Chen Na pulled her mum and said, "Mum, come to the bedroom, I need to speak to you." A few moments later, Chen Na's mother said, hushed but annoyed, "Girl, Qitao's right here. What secrets are you whispering? That's not how you treat guests." The Nana said, "You tricked me into coming back for a blind date. Didn't you think about how I'd feel?" Chen Na's mother said, "Your dad and I are just worried. Look at the girl upstairs, she's younger than you and already has 2 kids. Nana said, "Why should we compare with them?" "Ugh, I don't even want to argue." She took out her phone and sent a message to Shen Yuan saying, "Shen Yuan, I'm so fuming. My dad's not even in the hospital. They lied to get me back for a blind date. I'll be heading back this afternoon." Shen Yuan replied quickly, "I'm already getting off the motorway." "Send me your location?" Nana thought, shocked and confused. What, Shen Yuan's coming here? What does he want to do? Is he planning to? She said to her mum, blushing and excited, "Mum, I've got a mate coming over later." Chen Na's mother said, "Mate? Male or female?" Nana said, "You'll see." A few moments later, Auntie said, "Brother, Qitao and Nana are perfect together. They even look like a couple." Chen Na's father said, "Come on, drink. It's all in the wine." Qitao said, smiling, "Here, Uncle, let me toast to you." 15 minutes later, Nana said, shocked, "Shen Yuan, why did you bring so much stuff?" Shen Yuan said, grinning, "First time meeting Uncle and Auntie, course I had to bring something nice." Chen Na's mum said, confused. "Nana, this is Shen Yuan," said politely. "Hello, Auntie. I'm Nana's boyfriend, Shen Yuan. You can just call me Xiao Shen." "These are just small gifts," Qitao said, sweating and confused. "Wait, what?" Chen Na's aunt said, "Boyfriend? Why didn't I hear you mention it at all?" Chen Na's father said, "Nana, what's going on? Boyfriend, you never told us." As his 5 strands of hair lost another strand from stress, Chen Na's mother was shocked and confused. "What?" A few moments later, Chen Na's mother said, "Xiao Shen, you didn't have to bring so much. You're too polite," as they opened the boxes of jewelry. Shen Yuan said, "No need to be formal, Auntie. Nana's my girlfriend. Now we're family." Chen Na's father said, startled, "This much? How much did it all cost?" as all his hair suddenly fell out and he became totally bald. Chen Yuan said casually, "Not much. Just around 300,000 yuan." Everyone said, shocked, 300,000? Chen Na's father sweated buckets and thought, Did he just say only? Who says things like that? As the gifts sparkled with luxury, Kitao said, Auntie, how come Nana suddenly has a boyfriend? Didn't you say she was single? Auntie replied, Kitao, don't panic. I just found out too. But seriously, why would Nana bring her boyfriend now of all times? Kitao thought, turning up for the first time with over 300,000 quids worth of gifts. I look like a right mug next to that. He asked aloud, Auntie, you mean this boyfriend might be fake? He thought, spending so much just to meet the parents. If it's all an act, the cost's ridiculous. Auntie responded, let me try and test his background a bit. Shen Yuan and Chen Na stood at a distance, smirking, as the jewelry was laid out on the table. Auntie suddenly said to Shen Yuan, Hi, Xiao Shen. I'm Nana's aunt. You seem younger than her. How old are you? Shen Yuan replied politely, Nice to meet you, Auntie. I'm 21. Auntie was shocked and turned to Mother Chen, saying, 21, that's 6 years younger than our Nana. Mother Chen thought, now it really looks like acting. A 27-year-old dating a rich bloke 6 years younger. Who'd believe that? Father Chen sweated, sunlight hitting his bald head, making it shine. Shen Yuan said, I'm still at uni, but I've got side businesses, investments in finance and some industries. Chen Na held on to Shen Yuan's arm. Auntie thought, wow, he's really laying it on thick. These days anyone can say they're in finance. I'm not buying it. She asked Shen Yuan, You mentioned you plan to marry Nana. Surely you've got a house, right? Shen Yuan answered, Course, we've got 2, one under my name and one under hers. Both in Xingcheng. Kitao, frustrated, whispered to Auntie, Now he's gone too far. 2 homes. He's totally bluffing. Auntie smirked and whispered back, Don't worry, I'll stay calm and let you expose him. She then said to Shen Yuan, Xiao Shen, it's fine to have pride, but there's no need to pretend to be someone you're not. Honesty's key in a relationship. She thought, a single home in Xinjiang costs over 1 million yuan. Even if you could afford one, there's no way you'd buy one for Nana before marriage. Mother and Father Chen stared at Shen Yuan, who was starting to sweat. Chen Na suddenly showed her phone and said, Auntie, what are you on about? Shen Yuan really did buy me a house. I signed the contract yesterday. I've got photos of the signed agreement and the invoice. Auntie began to sweat and forced a smile, saying, Wow, he even prepared fake house contracts. He's thorough. Father and Mother Chen looked closely at Chen Na's Chinese phone. Shen Yuan said, Nana, the place should be ready soon. I'll transfer you 1 million yuan to decorate it. Let me know if you need more. He took out his phone and thought, they probably think I'm a scammer, so I might as well reassure them properly. Chen Na sweated in confusion and shock. 1 million? Home decor shouldn't cost that much. She received a message from the bank that read, ICBC, your account ending in 5854 received 1 million yuan at 12:18 in the afternoon, May 19th. Mother Chen looked at the phone and exclaimed, 10, 100, 1,000, million, 1 million, that's 6 zeros. Father Chen's head shone as he said, It's actually 1 million. Auntie, shocked, said, No way, let me see. She thought, bloody hell, it's legit. Just like that, he sends 1 million, and I doubted him. Kitao at the back sweated and thought, how rich must he be to casually transfer 1 million just for decorating a house? Whew, dodged a bullet there. If Auntie hadn't jumped in first, that slap of reality would have hit me. Shen Yuan said, it's just pocket change. If it's too much, treat the rest as spending money. Kitao sweated more as he picked up the boxes of his cheap gifts and thought, looks like I've lost this game. Time to cut my losses. I wonder if I can get back the Wuliangi liquor and those fancy cigarettes I brought. This was a disaster. Not only did the matchmaking fail, but I was shown up proper. Still, even if the blind date didn't work, I shouldn't waste the trip. A rich bloke like this might be a useful contact someday. Kitao spoke to Shen Yuan and said, Shen bro, if you're spending 1 million on interior work, your 2 houses must have cost a fortune, right? Shen Yuan thought, guess I'll keep up the act. No backing down now. He said to Kitao, not too bad. Nana's was about 3 million. Mine's a villa, around 10 million. Kitao scratched his head and said, 10 million's not too bad. Compared to you, my house is worthless. Auntie thought, listening to Shen Yuan and Kitao's conversation. Man, this bloke really knows how to suck up. Well, now that Xiao Shen's basically family, I need to seize the opportunity early. She suddenly looked at Shen Yuan and blushed as she said, Xiao Shen President Shen, sorry for earlier. I tend to speak my mind. Shen Yuan said, No worries, Auntie. We're all family now. Father Chen said, Next time, don't be so formal. Mother Chen said, Right. So thoughtful of you. Suddenly Chen Na's sister shouted, Dad, Mom! Danielle's younger sister, Chen Xinyu, ran to the living room, her soft, huge chest bouncing with excitement upon seeing Chen Na. She said, Sis, you're back. Chen Na and Chen Xinyu's huge, soft chests bumped each other, and Chen Na introduced Chen Xinyu to Shen Yuan, saying, This is your brother-in-law, Shen Yuan. Chen Xinyu blushed and said, Hello, brother-in-law. Shen Yuan looked at them and said, Hi there. He thought, She really looks like Nana, a bit less mature but more youthful, same genes. But why does the younger sister look better fed? Were the parents biased? Mother Chen said, All right, now that everyone's here, let's eat. A few moments later, at the dining table, Shen Yuan took out a bottle and said, Uncle, Auntie, I'd like to offer a toast. Cheers for raising Nana. I'm really lucky to have such a great girlfriend. After dinner, let's go look at the house and car together. Auntie was shocked and thought, Wait, he's not just buying for Nana, he's buying for her parents too. What kind of dream son-in-law is this? Father and Mother Chen looked at Shen Yuan, shocked and confused. A few moments later, Father Chen said, Xiao Shen, we're not young anymore. We barely use a car. Why get such an expensive one? Chen Xinyu said, Dad, he's just trying to show love and respect. Don't nitpick, Mother Chen said. And the 280 square meter house. You girls barely come home to visit. It might feel too empty. Chen Na said, Mum, I'll come home more often now. Mother Chen said, You always used to complain about being single. Now you've got a man, and you're crying again. Enough tears. Go make dinner for Xiao Shen. Later that night, Chen Na said to Shen Yuan on the bed, Shen Yuan, thank you. Shen Yuan said, What for? You're my woman. This is what I'm supposed to do. But I've got one question. Chen Na looked confused at Shen Yuan and sweated nervously, saying, What is... Shen Yuan said, Your parents. They won't let us sleep in the same room, right? Chen Na blushed, looked down and said, You'll sleep in the guest room. After they're asleep, I'll sneak over. A few hours later, at 11 p.m., Chen Na sneaked into the guest room and whispered to Shen Yuan, Shen Yuan, are you asleep? Shen Yuan suddenly grabbed her delicate wrist and looked at her. He whispered, Ha! How could I sleep without properly talking to you first? Shen Yuan put Chen Na down and said, Nana, you're not wearing... Wow, you really get me. Suddenly Chen Na felt something small between her legs as she covered her mouth and trembled in pleasure, sweating as Shen Yuan continued to play with her. Chen Na continued to tremble. A few seconds later, Chen Xinyu woke up and walked outside her room. She then looked at the guest room and curiously said, As she tried to listen, pressing her huge soft chest against the door, she heard creaking noises inside. She then peeked inside, shocked and sweating while blushing. She was shocked as she saw Shen Yuan playing with Chen Na on the bed, while Chen Na trembled and exhaustedly sweated all over her sexy body. Chen Xinyu's eyes became wide open as she continued to look inside and thought, even though I've seen those kinds of videos with classmates, hearing those sounds up close, sis, brother-in-law, he's really strong. Chen Xinyu held down her nightgown as she swallowed her sweet saliva, blushing and feeling heat between her legs. She then ran away, thinking, No, I cannot keep watching. An hour and a half later, Chen Na returned to her sister's room. She went to bed. Suddenly, Chen Xinyu hugged her, and Chen Na said, Xinyu, how come you're still not asleep? Chen Xinyu replied, Sister, I want to sleep hugging you. Chen Na responded, Of course, hug me. Sleep well. As Chen Xinyu hugged her tightly, Chen Na thought, This girl, She's really grown up, huh? The next day at noon, Shen Yuan, who had already returned to school, Fu Yingzi said, Shen Yuan, what do you think if I place it like this? Does it need any adjustment? Shen Yuan sat down in the cheap executive chair and said, No need. Everything's just fine. He thought. It seems Fu Yingzi's not only gorgeous but also very efficient in her work. She reports everything clearly. A good candidate for secretary. Everything's very good. Fu Yingzi handed over the CVS and said, This is the first batch of entrepreneurship applications and business plans that the classmates submitted. I collected them this morning from the Youth League Committee. There are over a dozen. Do you want to take a look first? Shen Yuan took them and said, All right, let me have a butcher's. As Shen Yuan looked at the papers, he read, Gender female, height 156 centimeters, weight 70 kilograms. He thought, What the hell is this? Even identification photos are so retouched now. Shen Yuan sweated and said, Forget it, I don't feel like looking at photos. I'll go straight to the business plans. Open a coffee shop on campus, a pet store, an internet cafe, huh? He became serious and said, Open a sexy lingerie store on campus? Darn, what genius came up with this idea? Who'd dare go? Being seen by a classmate would be instant social death. Shen Yuan thought, These kinds of low-quality proposals are useless. Even though I'm using the 10 million from the daddy system for this startup incubator project, I can't do it recklessly. I'm not here to play house on campus. Right now, I can get big refunds by raising girls' favor, but I can't do this my whole life, can I? Am I, Shen Yuan, still going to be on the beach at 80, grafting hard to please some little sister in a bikini? I don't want to end my life as some old creep who only knows how to flirt. Both the campus business incubator and Nana's cafe must start accumulating real business experience. Once the conditions are ripe, I've got to launch into the business world and turn a small company into a big one. Turn my own industry into a multinational conglomerate like Gigaduro, Banana, or Teslala. Shen Yuan cannot live this life just as a poetic playboy. I must become a legend of the era who contributes to society in the country. Shen Yuan said to Fu Yingzi, Comrade Fu, it seems I've overestimated our students. All of these unrealistic proposals, which don't consider the target market or consumer group, I don't want any of them. We need to replan everything properly. Fu Yingzi said, This is probably because the sample size is too small. Shen Yuan replied, Perhaps. Then, can the School and Youth League Committee increase the promotion? Fu Yingzi said, Yes. Actually, Secretary Liu already told me to fully support you. The radio station I'm in charge of will start airing an advert in the morning, and at night starting tomorrow. We'll also promote it simultaneously on the school's Weibo account, the official account, and the Kuayin account. What do you think? Shen Yuan said. Then let's go with that. Also, prepare a second-round exam. The questions should cover as much as possible: business management, investment, marketing, psychology, and international trade. Those who pass the initial review will take a unified second-round test. Fu Yingzi replied, Understood. I'll take care of it as soon as possible. Shen Yuan said, Thanks for your work. He thought, Since I got the system, I've only felt the joy of spending and making money. This is the first time I've felt, from Fu Yingzi, the joy of ordering someone to work as I please. Indeed, money doesn't just bring houses, cars, and women, it also brings power. Shen Yuan said to himself, Having more practical talents like Fu Yingzi is the key to my future. It seems that at this stage, I not only need to develop favor from the opposite sex, but I must also seek capable subordinates without delay. In a different scene, at the fitness center, Manager Gong said to Liu Menglu, Liu Menglu, do you know what time it is? You turn up at this hour. You don't want to keep working, do you? While sweating and drinking her Chinese knockoff of Gatorade, Liu Menglu stopped drinking, her bottle still full, and said, I sent you a message asking for the day off, and I also informed the members who had class. Manager Gong said, And you even have the nerve to bring that up. Your day off. Did I approve it? Liu Menglu stood up and replied, Why don't you look at what your message says? Have lunch with me at noon, and I'll approve your leave. Manager Gong, aside from that, can't you try something else? Manager Gong said, You. In short, I didn't approve it. This is absenteeism. As Liu Menglu ignored him and walked away, Manager Gong said, Do you know how much gets deducted for absenteeism according to company rules? Liu Menglu replied, Deduct whatever you want. I'm done working for you. I quit. A few moments later, fitness coach Han Lihai asked, Manager, did Menglu really quit? Manager Gong replied, All the clients she built over the years are with our gym. If she doesn't work here, how will she make a living? Fitness coach Han Lihai looked outside and said, Manager, did you see what car Menglu came in? Manager Gong was shocked and said, A 911? She found a sugar daddy, clearly knowing nothing about cars. Inside the Ferrari, Liu Menglu called Shen Yuan and said, Shen Yuan, I lost my job. The boss fired me. Aren't you coming to comfort me? Shen Yuan replied, That's great, Coach Liu. Isn't this perfect for you to be my exclusive personal trainer? Liu Menglu blushed and said, Is there a reward for being your exclusive trainer? Shen Yuan replied, Reward? Yes. In a bit, I'll come get you for training, and while we're at it, I'll reward you with a few dozen mini goals for you to enjoy. Liu Menglu said, Okay then, I'll wait for you in the executive suite. Love you. Heart. A few hours later, at 8:30 in the evening. Liu Menglu gently opened the door and said to Shen Yuan, You come this late and thought you'd still get in? Shen Yuan turned away and thought, This woman really, so naughty and such a tease. All right, you want to play push and pull, huh? Then let me show you what tug of war really is. As Liu Menglu was shocked and sweating, Shen Yuan said, You won't let me in. Then I'm leaving. Liu Menglu immediately shouted, Ah, baby, don't go. She pulled Shen Yuan inside and he said, Weren't you the one who wouldn't let me in? Liu Menglu said, Oh, Shen Yuan, I just wanted to set the mood. Don't go, okay? Shen Yuan said. Then beg me. Let me see if your attitude's sincere or not. Liu Menglu pressed her large soft chest against Shen Yuan's arm and said, Where's my attitude not sincere? Shen Yuan said, Well, I felt a bit of sincerity. As he stared at Liu Menglu's large, firm chest, Shen Yuan suddenly smothered his face in the soft, full curves and said, All right, for the two of them, I won't leave. As Shen Yuan touched the firm, hard behind of Liu Menglu said, Daddy, I was naughty just now. Are you going to punish me? Shen Yuan said, What did you just call me? Say it again. Liu Menglu whispered to Shen Yuan. Daddy? He pushed her onto the bed and said, I like that. All right then, tonight I'll turn up the intensity. Liu Menglu said in pleasure, Daddy, After a 1-hour intense session, Liu Menglu thought, Forget the money. Just this is enough to make Shen Yuan irresistible. Tall, she sweated and blushed while staring blankly at the wall. Shen Yuan said, Hey, weren't you going to be my personal trainer? I'm still ready to go. Don't start slacking. As Liu Menglu pushed Shen Yuan harder in bed, she felt something small between her legs and thought, What? We just finished and you're already ready for round 2. That's not normal. Another 1-hour session. Liu Menglu said, Oh God, I'm dying here. Is this how you treat me? What happened to being gentle? Shen Yuan said, That was gentle. I only used about 50% of the oomph I use with Nana. Liu Menglu scoffed. I heard you two at the cafe, remember? That wasn't even close. Don't spin me a yarn. More like you were going all in this time. Shen Yuan thought to himself. Emotionless times endurance. Definitely a cheat-level skill for never-tiring performance. Still, it feels like I've been losing steam lately. I reckon I've shed some weight too. System, show my attribute panel. A system notification appeared. Height, 182 centimeters. Weight, 70 kilograms. Health, 69. Shen Yuan said to himself, Yup, I'm down 2 kilos in just half a month. Health stat even dropped by 3 points. I'm 182 centimeters tall and weigh only 70 kilos. That's no good. He came close to Liu Menglu and said, Coach Liu, let's work out tomorrow morning. Liu Menglu said, why are you scheduling tomorrow already? You might want to, go again later. Shen Yuan said, your mind's always on that stuff. I mean proper workouts. Look at me. Don't I seem too skinny? Liu Menglu sat up and said, ha, so you finally clocked you're a skinny pup. Shen Yuan said, one more word and I'll make sure you can't walk straight. Liu Menglu said, I'm sorry, Daddy, I was wrong. Shen Yuan said, that's more like it. Help me plan a professional routine. Liu Menglu said, I'll go shower first. Then I'll give you a full diet and fitness plan. You'll need a balance of cardio and strength training to control your body fat. Shen Yuan said, perfect. Once the plan's ready, we'll start tomorrow. Liu Menglu said, the hotel's got a gym, we'll use that. I'll pop home in the morning to grab clothes, and I'll buy 2 sets for you too. A system notification appeared. Host has triggered a fitness path. A perfect life needs not just wealth and empire, but also a refined self-image. Host has voluntarily begun self-improvement. Fitness panel unlocked. A system notification said task triggered. Time-limited mission. Within 1 month, if host reaches 75 kilograms and body fat between 12 to 15%, system will grant the perfect physique effect. Note, this physique will last for 2 years. Shen Yuan said to himself, a fitness panel. System Daddy's got this too. A system notification displayed. Fitness panel. Height, 182 centimeters. Weight, 70 kilograms. Health, 69. BMI, 21.1, body fat, 21%. Shen Yuan said to himself, so it's all about fat and weight control. Let's focus there. What's this button? System notifications followed. Business management, investment strategies, human resources management, public speaking. Entron, Shen Yuan said to himself. Turns out fitness is just one part. As long as I meet the system's criteria, I unlock new skills. With System Daddy's help, I can master things in a month that others need years for. Cracking. Next day, Liu Menglu entered the room and said, hey, the hotel brekkie's got too many calories, so I made your meals for this morning and noon. Go ahead, dig in. I got up at 6:30 in the morning to do it. As the food she prepared sparkled, Shen Yuan said, wow. This looks bang on. Cheers, Coach Liu. Liu Menglu blushed and said, glad you appreciate it. But from now on, no more tiring me out like last night. Shen Yuan said, that's all you felt? Nothing else? Liu Menglu said, you're strong, you're amazing. Happy now? Eat up so we can work out. Shen Yuan said, A few moments later, Liu Menglu walked confidently. As they arrived at the gym, a boy said to himself, when did our gym get a coach that fit? As he dropped his weights on the floor, another boy said, while looking at Liu Menglu's firm behind. Her figure's unreal Liu Menglu started to put a single slab of weight on Shen Yuan's machine and showed off her firm behind. A boy covered his shorts while looking at Liu Menglu's firm behind and thought, can't keep looking. One more glance and I'll react. A muscular man, flexing his arms, thought, why is a goddess like her with such a noodle-armed bloke? Total waste. Why not consider me? Liu Menglu said to Shen Yuan, Shen Yuan, open your arms a bit more. Don't use momentum. As old man Hu Jun wiped his sweat at the back and suddenly thought, wait, that's Shen Yuan? And the bird next to him? Wasn't he just buying luxury bags for another girl at IFC Mall? Now he's with a new one? Dude's a right player, Liu Menglu said. See, this is why you need exercise, just a little, and you're already knackered. But it was a decent first session. Drink some water. We'll go slow and steady. She handed Shen Yuan a bottle of her bath water with a smirk. Shen Yuan said, yeah. So when do we get to enjoy the tofu? Liu Menglu, annoyed, said, you pervert. Old man Hu Jun muttered to himself, that gets here living it up with his new bird, and I can't even get through to Joe wanting. Blocked on WeChat, don't know her address. Can't even get a breakup reason, so darn frustrating. Wait, could he be two-timing? If I expose him, any girl would immediately dump him. Here, let's do this. Let's see how he explains this. He walked straight toward Shen Yuan and Liu Menglu. Yo, Shen Yuan, fancy seeing you here, Hojun greeted. Shen Yuan replied flatly, Oh, it's you, what do you want? Nothing much, just saying hi. Cool, then I'll get back to it. He resumed pumping steel. Liu Menglu shot a sharp look at Hojun and said, Get out of here. Don't mess with our vibe, all right? Hojun scratched his head and thought, What, trying to get rid of me? I haven't even said what I came here for. He spoke again. That girl you brought to IFC Mall last time. Why didn't she come look like you two were pretty close? You even bought her a bunch of stuff. If they're a legit couple, Hojun thought. She'll question him and blow up. Come on, let's see some drama. 20 seconds passed, still nothing from the two of them. Shen Yuan was sweating while pumping steel. Liu Menglu quietly wiped his sweat with a towel. No reaction? That's weird. Weren't they together? Hojun thought. He turned to Liu Menglu and said, Hey, did you hear me? That girl from last time? Shen Yuan shot him a sharp glare and said, Hojun, seriously? Mind your own business. We're not even that close. Hojun turned to Liu Menglu. I'm telling you, love, faces we see, hearts we don't know. This bloke's playing both sides. Don't let him pull the wool over your eyes. Liu Menglu turned around, arms crossed, and said, Even if he were with 3 girls at the same time, I'd happily be with him. It's none of your business. He bought that woman 2 bags, over 100,000. I'm warning you in good faith, it's for your own good. Blushing, Liu Menglu looked at Shen Yuan and said, So what? It's his money, and he can spend it however he wants as long as he's happy. If he's happy, I'm also happy. She thought, and so what if he buys a woman 2 bags? Shen Yuan bought me a car worth over 2 million. Hojun began to sweat and thought in disbelief. What's going on? This woman knows she's being cheated on and she's still this happy. What kind of relationship do they have? Please step away a bit, Liu Menglu said, still wiping Shen Yuan's sweat. Seeing your face distracts us from the exercise. Hojun stood there, stunned, nearly falling over. He stumbled away and muttered, What kind of people are out there? How ridiculous. Shen Yuan thought, Coach Liu is my personal trainer and my assistant. She's very clear about her position. Why would she care about these things? Next time you want to have a pop at me, do your research first. Shen Yuan, let's continue, Liu Menglu said, her tone back to business. 2 hours later. You performed very well today, Liu Menglu said. All the movements were very precise. But tomorrow, we'll have to up the intensity a bit, huh? Shen Yuan grinned. I'll up the intensity on you at night, and you up it on me during the day. Is this some kind of revenge? Of course not, Liu Menglu replied, giggling. Today was mainly to get familiar with the movements and the machines. After that, it's obvious we have to add weight. Shen Yuan stretched and said, Well, the muscles have relaxed enough. Let's go back and shower. As he opened the shower, he glanced at her and said, Coach Liu, there's another place I need to get more familiar with. Ah? She replied. I mean this. He reached toward her. Feeling something small between her legs, Liu Menglu shivered and whispered, Ah, you're so bad. A few moments later, wrapped in towels. Husband? No, Daddy. Are you going back to the uni tonight, or? Liu Menglu asked. I've got things to do tonight. You sleep here. This flat's too big. I'll feel uncomfortable if I stay alone, she pouted. I'd rather go back and sleep in my little flat. All right, as you wish. By the way, can you say it one more time? Liu Menglu showed off her toned cleavage, her affection rating glowing. 88. What? She blinked. Oh. Daddy, Shen Yuan thought. From last night until now, the affection level's gone up another few points. It seems level 90's within reach. I'm curious about the magical reward from the daddy system. A few moments later, at school. Shen Yuan saw Fu Yingzi and Fang Zegui and muttered, This creep, why is he like a ghost that won't leave? As he walked toward his office, Fu Yingzi approached and said, Shen Yuan, I'm sorry. He insisted on following me after seeing me in the dining hall. I've told him several times, but he won't listen. Feng Zegi said, "Don't blame Yingzi. I'm the one who wanted to see if I could help with anything. After all, one more person means more strength." Shen Yuan replied, "It's really not necessary. You can't help with this." As Feng Zeguai stood behind Fu Yingzi, he secretly enjoyed the view. Suddenly, the door slammed shut in his face. Feng Zegui muttered, inside the activity room, with the door closed and the blinds down. What the hell are they going to do in there? Why would an activity room even have blinds? My Yingzi, it can't be that. He imagined Shen Yuan and Fu Yingzi getting closer to each other behind closed doors, inside Shen Yuan's office. Shen Yuan sat down and asked, "How's the campaign progress going?" Fu Yingzi replied, "I've already posted the posters and texts on the official account, the Weibo account, the Kuayin account, and even on the school's confession wall. The views and attention are quite good, but the new entrepreneurship plan will still need more time." Shen Yuan said, "I plan to create another wave of publicity to increase the popularity even more." "How exactly?" Fu Yingzi asked. "Do you need me to collaborate on anything else? Link me to the entrepreneurship base. Let all the exchange students know that I invested in it. Publish some eye-catching text or posts like, 'Heavens! Someone invested 10 million in our school's entrepreneurship base.' I never imagined the entrepreneurship base was funded by a student from our school. Crazy. There really is a super handsome millionaire bloke in our school. But don't reveal who it is yet." Fu Yingzi said, "We'll release the information little by little, letting everyone guess to build up the intrigue. And just when expectations are at their peak, you'll appear." She thought, "Although I don't quite understand why Shen Yuan would put himself in the spotlight, it's not something I should worry about. I just need to follow his orders." Shen Yuan nodded. "Correct. That way, the popularity will skyrocket, and the number of applicants will also increase drastically. With a larger pool, we can better select outstanding entrepreneurship proposals." He thought, "I'm doing this first, to gain prestige in the school and education sector. Second, to make it easier to recruit high-quality senior and first-year female students. And third, after investing 10 million, I will receive an industry from the daddy system. And to achieve the best effect, nothing should be leaked in the beginning." "Will it be difficult to execute?" Fu Yingzi replied, "It can be done. We'll let the unofficial accounts post first, then use secondary accounts in the comments to generate interest." Shen Yuan closed his eyes and said, "Perfect, it's decided. Now let's talk about your business." He stared directly at Fu Yingzi. "What is it that you want from me?" "Ah," she stammered, caught off guard. She looked down and thought, I didn't expect Shen Yuan to be so direct. At first, I did want to try developing a romantic relationship with him, but now it seems he already has a partner, and he doesn't seem to be interested in me at all. She spoke softly. "Next semester, internships begin, but as you know, for students from private unis like ours, it's not easy to find a job, especially with a marketing major. So I thought that if I followed you, maybe I could earn a better salary than a typical job outside," Shen Yuan thought. As expected from a uni student, very reserved. If you'd just said you wanted me, we could have let things flow. "You want more money, how much?" 8,000, she added internally. "Graduates in my major usually earn 3,000 or 4,000 a month. 8,000's already 2 or 3 times that." Shen Yuan said, "I'll add another 2,000 to round it up. If you do a good job, there'll be bonuses and additional rewards. From now on, you'll work for me." Fu Yingzi's eyes widened as she thought, is he really offering me such a high salary? Wait, that you'll work for me, could it have another meaning? Outside the office, Feng Zegui said impatiently, "Yingzi, are you two done talking? Why is it taking so long?" Inside, Shen Yuan stood up and narrowed his eyes. "This creep, he really brings down the pride of men." "I'm sorry," Fu Yingzi said. "I'll go out and talk to him." "Wait," Shen Yuan smirked. "Let's sacrifice a little. and solve this problem once and for all. Huh? What do you mean? Before she could finish, Shen Yuan suddenly grabbed her delicate wrist and slim waist. He leaned in and pressed a kiss against her soft neck, leaving a visible kiss mark. He gazed at it and whispered, "Come on." A few moments later, they stepped out of the office, with Shen Yuan's arm around Fu Yingzi's waist. Shen Yuan said casually, "Yingzi, from now on, we should hang a sign on the door. No creeps allowed." Feng Ziggy was stunned. Tears welled up in his eyes. "Yingzi, what? What's going on?" Fu Yingzi looked him straight in the eye and said firmly, "Don't come looking for me again. I already have a boyfriend." Shen Yuan's hand held her closely by the waist. Feng Zigui began to sweat, his face twisted with disbelief. "Boyfriend? Him? When did you start dating?" "Just now," Fu Yingzi said. "From now on, please keep your distance from me, otherwise both Shen Yuan and I will feel very uncomfortable." Feng Zigui collapsed to the ground in despair, tears falling freely. "Yingzi." "No, it can't be." As Shen Yuan and Fu Yingzi watched Feng Zigui walk away, defeated, Shen Yuan smirked and muttered, "Sorry, mate, face the reality. Money and power are unbeatable." Fu Yingzi, blushing, said softly, Shen Yuan, I think that's enough, right?" Shen Yuan removed his hand from her tiny, delicate waist and replied, "Yeah, he probably won't bother you again. If there's nothing else, I'll head out." As Fu Yingzi watched Shen Yuan walk away, she whispered to herself, "Shen Yuan." A few moments later, in his room, Shen Yuan sat down on his bed and murmured, "Honestly, Fu Yingzi really is secretary material, but I'm not yet capable of running a full company. Without real skills, even if I have money, I'd just be seen as a flashy rich git. I need to activate all these knowledge modules and level up." As he fiddled with the system, Shen Yuan said, "Let's start with this one." Even though school had mandatory courses like Introduction to Management, I always felt like I didn't learn much. The system replied, "Detected hosts plan to begin studying business management. To run a company well, you must master several professional disciplines. Host has consciously decided to self-improve business management panel unlock. Limited time task. Within 1 month, if the host masters key concepts from Foundations of Management, all Ember-level knowledge from Shangjiang Chinese University, Asia's top business school, will be integrated into the host's brain." Shen Yuan said to himself, "Ember focuses on both theory and practice, especially from such a top-tier school, but finishing all this in a month won't be easy. Wait, my counselor's got a double degree. Her first major's business management." Suddenly, Lin Yucheng sent Shen Yuan a message. "Shen Yuan, are you available for a drink tonight?" Shen Yuan looked at his Chinese phone and said aloud, "Miss Lin." He muttered, "I remember last time. I knew there'd be more to come, but," he replied to Lin Yucheng, "Tomorrow night. I've got something on tonight." At a bar, Lin Yucheng blushed while sipping red wine and said, "Tomorrow night? I still have a long day to wait." 1 hour later, Fang Minhui entered Shen Yuan's room and exclaimed, "Shen Yuan, finally I get to see you. Do I look good today?" Shen Yuan stood up and smiled. "Course, my Miss Hui always looks great." Fang Minhui suddenly jumped to hug him, and they began kissing. Shen Yuan thought, "What can I say? Miss Lin, dating me requires queuing up." A few moments later, Fang Minhui lay on Shen Yuan's bed, her heart rating at 93, as Shen Yuan looked at her alluring figure and mused. Hui Wei's affection level rose from 91 to 93. "I'm noticing a pattern. The higher it gets, the harder it is to increase. But harder also means better rewards. Just like leveling up in a game." Shen Yuan leaned closer and whispered, "I mentioned helping you buy a house. If you're free this weekend, we can go look." As he played with her soft, delicate chest, Fang Minhui suddenly hugged him tightly, pressing her large, soft chest against him and said, "Yay, love you." The next morning on campus, Fang Minhui entered the room and her friend asked, "Did you see the promotional materials about the new startup incubator?" Another friend said, Is it really a student who invested 10 million? No way, said the third. All the rich kids here just waste money partying. None of them are capable of investing like Entron. Chen Ling, torn and frustrated, whispered to Fang Minhui, I really want to tell everyone the truth. What should I do? It's too uncomfortable to hold it in. Fang Minhui hushed her and whispered back, Hold it in. Shen Yuan said not to reveal anything yet. Chen Ling frowned and whispered, I don't get why he's keeping quiet. Isn't this just showing off in the dark? Still, you're lucky. You bagged such a rich bloke. Hui, think you could ask if he needs another maid or assistant? I don't want to work hard anymore, Fang Minhui replied. You mean like a live-in maid? Chen Ling grinned. Come on, you think he'd want someone like me? She teasingly pulled Fang Minhui's blouse to show more cleavage and added, You really got lucky, Hui. I bet last night was wild, huh? Fang Minhui blushed and said, Aya, stop teasing. Chen Ling chuckled. Just admit it. Was it amazing or not? Fang Minhui looked away, sweating and blushing. You're so annoying. In a different scene, Zixi said, Yuping, did you see the post saying a student spent 10 million on the incubator? Yuping scoffed. I saw. But come on, do we look that gullible? Who just believes internet gossip? Zixi blushed and looked up. I agree. 10 million. If someone really did that, they'd have at least a net worth of 100 million. If our school really had someone that rich, I'd throw myself at them too. Yuping said dream on why would they look at you? Zixi retorted. If someone really spent that kind of money, they'd be showing off non-stop. No way they'd stay low-key. What's the point otherwise? Yuping added, Exactly, look at Shen Yuan, bit of money, and he's already full of himself. Buying cafes for older women and all? Zixi said, Yeah. Just the other day he gave us attitude when we said a few words. Ugh, what a turn-off. Meanwhile, campus gossip spreads like wildfire. Shen Yuan continues with his plan. Shen Yuan said on the phone, Counselor, I need your help. I want to seriously study management fundamentals. Could you tutor me, Counselor Li Xiao? Suspicious, replied. Shen Yuan, what are you up to this time? Shen Yuan got into his car and said as he put on his seatbelt, I really just want to learn something this time. Li Xiao, still not convinced, sighed. Fine then. Shen Yuan, excitement clear in his voice, said, I'll be at your place soon. Counselor Li Xiao, shocked and blushing, exclaimed, At my house? You're not planning to accuse me of anything shady again, right? Shen Yuan said, You know I'm trustworthy. I swear I won't try anything. Li Xiao fell silent. Come on, Shen Yuan said playfully. Don't worry. And with that, he rushed toward her flat. A few moments later, Counselor Li Xiao opened the door, visibly sweating and blushing. Shen Yuan, before you come in, you have to promise me that it won't be like last time. I promise, Shen Yuan grinned. Sure, she asked, narrowing her eyes. 100% sure. Shen Yuan's eyes sparkled. All right, come in. A few moments later, in Counselor Li Xiao's living room, she handed him a thick book and said, This was my textbook from uni. I marked the key points in the first 3 chapters. You'll have to memorize most of them, but try linking them to real-life cases. It helps. Shen Yuan nodded earnestly. Got it. I'll start memorizing now. After 1 solid hour of studying, Li Xiao frowned. Why do you stop studying? Why are you staring at me? Look at your book. Shen Yuan gazed at her and said, But Counselor, you're way more interesting than the book. There you go again, she snapped, blushing. Didn't you promise you were just here to study? I am studying seriously. Shen Yuan leaned closer, but I also want you to be my girlfriend. Those goals don't conflict. Li Xiao stood up immediately. Stop talking nonsense. Suddenly Shen Yuan hugged her from behind. I'm serious, Counselor. Li Xiao froze in place for a moment and whispered, Don't do this, Shen Yuan. My little sister's sleeping in the other room. All the better, Shen Yuan whispered. We can let her know we're official now. As Li Xiao felt something poke her from behind, she turned red and said, Let go of me, Shen Yuan. I never agreed to anything. Shen Yuan suddenly kissed her soft, delicate lips and whispered, You will eventually, Counselor. Li Xiao didn't resist. Her eyes wide, she murmured, "You swore you wouldn't act like this. Men really are pigs." As Shen Yuan moved his hand to her waist, she quickly pushed it away. "No, Shen Yuan. Absolutely not there." Suddenly, Li Meng stepped out of her room, rubbing her eyes. When she opened them, she froze in shock. On the couch was Shen Yuan on top of her sister. Her jaw dropped. What the hell's going on here? Both Shen Yuan and Councillor Li Xiao turned toward her, startled. Li Meng's eyes widened as she screamed internally. "My sister and Shen Yuan, right on the sofa. No shame at all?" Since when did my sister get so bold? Without another word, she stomped back to her room and slammed the door. Li Xiao pushed Shen Yuan away and shouted, "What are you doing?" "My little sister saw everything," Shen Yuan shrugged. "She was going to find out sooner or later. Better to let her know now, right?" "Wrong." "Ugh, Shen Yuan," she groaned. "I haven't even agreed to be your girlfriend yet. Now how am I supposed to explain this to my sister?" Shen Yuan paused. "Counselor, do you like—" He gently grabbed her shoulders. Li Xiao started, then thought, "If I had to say, then yes, a little, but we're teacher and student." Her affection level, 71, Shen Yuan smiled. Her affection level increased by 2 points. Not much, but something. She's not materialistic, so money won't work. Only time and effort will show her my sincerity. He said aloud, "It's all right. I won't give up." Li Xiao blushed in shock. "I'll head out for now. See you next time." As he left, Councillor Li Xiao stood frozen for a moment. A few moments later, she knocked on her sister's door. "You can come out of the room now." Li Meng peeked out and asked, "Is it over?" "Yeah," Li Xiao said, holding her book. Li Meng sat beside her on the couch. "Sis, are you and him together now? Should I start calling him brother-in-law?" Li Xiao looked away. "No, not officially." "Not officially? Then how did you two end up doing that?" Li Meng asked flatly. "We didn't go all the way," Li Xiao muttered. "So what are you thinking?" Li Meng asked. Councillor Li Xiao's mind swirled with confusion. Li Meng looked at her sister and thought, "You're obviously already falling for him. You just don't realize it yet." Later that night, at Miss Cafe, Shen Yuan arrived and spotted Lin Yu Chang sitting alone at a table. Miss Lin looked up, her face a little flushed. "Shen Yuan, sorry to bother you. I've been in a bad mood lately and wanted to talk. Am I interrupting anything?" She blushed, waiting for his response. Shen Yuan sat down across from her and asked, "Not at all. Miss Lin, are you okay? You don't look very happy." Miss Lin sighed. "Tang Shanyong's getting worse. Staying out all night, not even trying to hide it anymore. He comes back reeking of other women." She looked down at her glass of alcohol and muttered, "If he's out doing whatever, I can at least have a drink with someone. It's not like we're doing anything wrong. Even if I did do something, he wouldn't have the right to complain. He made this bed himself." Then, Miss Lin suddenly asked, "Shen Yuan, is Chenna your girlfriend?" Shen Yuan replied, "Sort of." Miss Lin continued, "And she knows you're out drinking with me?" "Nope," Shen Yuan said casually. "But even if she knew, she wouldn't mind." Miss Lin whispered, "Then I get it. If that's the case, I won't feel guilty. I really didn't want to interfere in anyone's relationship." Then she said softly, "Shen Yuan, can you hug me? Just once." Shen Yuan shifted to the side and said, "Come here." Miss Lin immediately stood up and, instead of a simple hug, sat directly on Shen Yuan's lap. He blinked. "And what about him?" Shen Yuan asked. "Does he know you're out here drinking with me?" Lin Yu Chang kissed him suddenly and whispered, "Please don't mention that git." Shen Yuan thought, "Ugh, this is happening at Nana's cafe with another woman. I feel guilty. Darn it. Am I seriously becoming that bloke? Why am I overthinking this?" He began getting handsy, but Lin Yu Chang stopped him, pushing his hand away. I can't." Shen Yuan chuckled. "What? You're not seriously asking me to behave now, are you?" Lin Yu Chang said softly, "Shen Yuan, I'll help you relax." As they drew closer, Shen Yuan grinned. "Nope. Tonight I'm going all in." They made love. Afterward, Miss Lin moaned softly. She felt as though she were lying in a heavenly garden, being gently watered like a dried flower by cherubic angels. So this is what heaven feels like, she thought. Half an hour later, Lin Yuchang, flushed and panting, said between breaths, "Ha, ha." Shen Yuan relaxed, pointed downward and said, "Help me clean up, please." As Lin Yuchang continued to help him clean the pipes, Shen Yuan leaned back in satisfaction and thought, "People always say young blokes don't appreciate mature women and only chase younger girls. They're not wrong. This is new. Even before things escalated with the others, their affection levels were over 60. But with her, it went up afterward. A system notification appeared. Congratulations! You now have 5 NPCs with affection levels above 60. Stage reward unlocked. A perfect life requires the admiration of multiple women. Rewards: 2 high-efficiency study cards, 1 exclusive skill pack exchange ticket, 2 perfect life lucky draws. Shen Yuan blinked. Didn't expect the system to not only track affection levels, but also count how many NPCs are into me. Let's see what goodies I get this time. Another notification popped up. High-efficiency study card. Instantly memorizes and retains content from books. Each card lasts 1 hour. Shen Yuan pumped his fist. This is great. Studying that management textbook was taking ages. This card'll help me complete the time-limited task in just a few hours. Another notification appeared. Perfect life lucky draw. Random rewards include bonus cards, attribute boosts, real-world items, businesses, or even cash. Shen Yuan laughed to himself. System Daddy, you're amazing. If I get lucky, maybe I'll win something wild, like, you know. Just then, Lin Yuchang stood up and said with a soft smile, "You seem happy. To be honest, I've never been this happy, not even once before." Shen Yuan looked at her silently, admiring her quiet beauty. Lin Yuchang walked to the kitchen and called back, "Let's go, Shen Yuan. I should be heading home now. So, next time we'll continue." Shen Yuan thought, "Huh? Next time? Is she planning to keep this going?" Online comments appeared on the screen. No one in our international trade major drives a G-class. If you're going to spread rumors, at least do your homework. Not just in our department, even across the entire international studies school. No one drives a G-class. The original poster's clearly bluffing. Let's just treat it as a joke. There's no cost to spreading lies these days anyway. Shen Yuan said, "These are screenshots of online comments Fu Yingzi sent me." He added, "Actually, getting hate online's a good sign. It triggers discussion and raises visibility." Fu Yingzi replied, "I can start dropping more hints, like which department I'm in, what year, and my major, as long as I don't reveal my name or class." Shen Yuan nodded. "Sounds good." He put down his Chinese phone and said, "Let's put the startup project aside for now and see what surprises the system has in store." A system notification appeared. "You currently have 2 lottery chances. Would you like to draw now? Yes or no?" Shen Yuan answered, "Yes, congratulations. You have won a 500 square meter storefront at Yunqi Elegant Garden. Please claim it within 1 week at the Yunqi Elegant Garden sales office." Shen Yuan stared in disbelief. "Wow, a storefront at Yunqi Elegant Garden? That's the most luxurious complex in Star City. This'll bring in rental income even if I don't open a business. I can just collect rent." He pressed on the notification. Still 1 more draw left. Let's go. A system notification said, "You have won 2 attribute adjustment points for fitness stats." Shen Yuan said, "Fitness attributes. If I can adjust my body fat or weight, I'll finish my fitness mission in no time. I'm the slim type, hard to bulk up. Let's increase the weight then." A system notification said, "Fitness panel. Height, 182 centimeters. Weight, 70.6 kilograms. Health, 70 BMI, 20.8. Body fat, 19.5%. A system notification said, "Applying changes, 1%, 2%, 99%. As Shen Yuan felt something good happening to his body, a system notification said, "Attribute modification completed." Shen Yuan said, "Let's see, plus the weight gain from Coach Liu's training." His body sparkled. He said to himself, "Gained 5 kilograms of muscle. Still not enough for the final goal, but it's noticeable. These points are amazing." Shen Yuan said to himself, "Seems like there are 2 patterns with the system. Higher affection levels trigger rewards. Reaching a certain number of high affection NPCs also unlocks rewards. So, I need to keep expanding my network." Shen Yuan pressed on the system and said, "I was planning to study and get closer to the counselor at the same time. Let's use this high-efficiency study card. That way, I'll have more topics to chat with her about." In the following days, while keeping up with gym and study routines, Shen Yuan bought a Maserati MC20 for Chen A and got himself a G63. At the job fair at International Studies University, a man said, "Did you hear? The investor behind the startup base is supposedly from the business school, majoring in international trade, and drives a G-class." A lady said, "That car costs over 3 million renminbi. No way someone like that is studying here." Another lady added, "Come on, someone driving a car like that attending a second-tier private college? No chance, let's just go to the fair." Her friend replied, "Besides, the companies here aren't even big firms, just small local businesses from Star City." Friday, school auditorium. Yuping said, "Senior, doesn't your family own a company? Why are you at the fair?" The senior replied, "To learn from other businesses, a good manager has to keep evolving." Shixi said, "Senior, if I can't find an internship, could I join your company?" The senior said, "Sure, just send me your CV. I'll put in a good word." Jixi and Yuping said, "Really? Thank you so much." The senior smiled and said, "Junior students, if you're still looking for internships, feel free to apply to my company too. As fellow alumni, I'll help where I can." Li Zongpeng's friend said, "This bloke isn't here for the fair, he's here to flex and flirt." Another friend said, "Seriously, that smug senior just had to show off again." Li Zongpeng said, "If only old Huang were here, he'd dump a smoothie right on that bloke's head." Shixi said to Yuping, "Our senior's capable and humble, not like Shen Yuan just runs a cafe and chases older women running a cafe versus owning a company. Night and day difference. Shen Yuan's so lame and clueless." Yuping replied, "Let's not mention him anymore. After what he did to us, I've lost all respect for him." The senior turned to Yuping and said, "Junior Tan, got time after the fair. Want to grab dinner?" Yuping smiled. "Sure." Suddenly a G-Wagon arrived. Other students murmured, "Wait, aren't cars banned from campus? What's going on?" A girl pointed and said, "Hold up, is that a G-class?" Jixi and Yuping looked shocked. Yuping whispered, "The G-Wagon? People have been talking all week. Rumor says a student who invested 10 million in a startup drives it." Jixi said, "If that rich bloke's really a student here, he's way more interesting than that other senior." Yuping thought, "If I can get to know him, I'm ditching the dinner date." Shen Yuan rolled down the window and said, "Old Huang, old Sao, what are you two doing? Want a ride back to the dorm?" Yuping, shocked and sweating, muttered, "Shen Yuan?" "He's driving." Jixi, equally stunned, said, "The rich bloke, is Shen Yuan?" People in the crowd started murmuring, "He's here, he's here, he showed up." Old Huang said, "You crazy git, talk about showing up right on time." Yuping stormed toward the car and hit old Huang aside as she tried to peek inside. She whispered, "No way, it can't be Shen Yuan. He must just be the driver, right?" Shen Yuan was visibly sweating. Old Cow barked, "What are you looking at? You look sneaky." He opened the door and added, "Get out of the way, we're getting in the car." Shen Yuan drove away with his friends. Jixi stared and thought, "How could a bloke like him be this rich, and none of us knew?" She said aloud, "You think, if we apologized to him, would he forgive us?" Yuping hesitated. I don't know." Cold wind blew across their faces, and just like that, the news that Shen Yuan was the G-Wagon bloke went viral across campus. In one dorm, a student putting on her bra said, "Forget everything else. From now on, my only goal's Shen Yuan." Her friend replied, "Right? If it were a 60-year-old billionaire, girls might hesitate. But Shen Yuan's 21. tall and handsome. What more could you want? Another girl in black underwear chimed in. I found his WeChat. Watch me win him over. Her friend frowned. Don't you already have a boyfriend? The girl in black shrugged. So what? If Shen Yuan gives me a chance, I'll dump my current bloke in a heartbeat. Elsewhere, Long Jinghan said, Sister Yingzi. Fu Yingzi turned. Long Jinghan, what's up? I heard you're working with Shen Yuan on the startup base, he said. Could you introduce me? Fu Yingzi raised an eyebrow. You're just a second year. Shouldn't you be preparing to lead the broadcasting club? Why the sudden interest in entrepreneurship? Long Jinghan replied with a straight face. The job market's tough. Got to prepare early. But Fu Yingzi thought. Almost believed you for a second. But then again, Long Jinghan's known as the little dragon girl for a reason. 168 centimeters tall, a perfect figure, beautiful features, and a calm, composed vibe. Honestly, she'd be a good match. Wait, what the hell am I doing? I sound like I'm picking concubines for Shen Yuan. Get it together. Meanwhile, Shen Yuan's inbox was flooded. A cat avatar messaged, Hi senior, I'm Wu Miaozhen, second year in Spanish at the School of Foreign Languages. Can we get to know each other? A dog, Hey junior, I'm Zhai Changling, senior at the School of Sports. Wanna go for a run or shoot some hoops sometime? An autumn tree. Hi Shen Yuan, I'm Zhu Chaofeng from Business School, class of 2020, HR Management. Can we chat? A green leaf? Do you have a girlfriend, senior? I'm pretty well endowed. Maybe you'd be interested. A puppy. Hi Shen Yuan, I study ballet. Please accept my request, I'll send you a video soon. A dandelion. Height 168 centimeters. Bust 85. Waist 63. Hips 80. Please accept me. A penguin. Round face. Goatee. Chengdu version of Ruby Lin. Wanna hang out? In the dorm room. Old Huang said, Hey, third bro, your phone's blowing up. Aren't you gonna check it? Shen Yuan replied, Nope. Kinda grim. Old Huang gaped. You're getting so many girls adding you, it's making you sick. Shen Yuan snorted. Nonsense. If they were all girls, I wouldn't mind. But a bunch of blokes are adding me too. It's annoying. Old Sao joined in. Dude, even the girls who can't reach you are messaging me instead. He held up his phone and showed a message. Hi, are you Shen Yuan's roommate? Shen Yuan scratched his head. Ignore them. Old Sao exploded. Third bro, you're killing me. Lao Sao and I have been single for 3 years of uni. We haven't even sniffed perfume. And you're living like a celebrity. A system notification appeared. For every 500 reputation points gained, you earn a chance at a lucky draw. Rewards may include attribute points or special abilities. Note, reputation is defined as widespread admiration and respect. Only interactions with students and faculty on campus count toward this total. Shen Yuan muttered, If it weren't for this system task, I wouldn't even bother with all this attention. No matter how much hype I get, it doesn't mean anything unless it brings real value to students. To gain real respect, I need to actually implement a project. Another system prompt flashed. Current reputation, 33. Shen Yuan nodded. I need to check in with Fu Yingzi. He picked up his phone and sent a message. Shen Yuan Secretary Fu, meet me at the office shortly. Fu Yingzi, got it, boss. Suddenly his phone rang. Shen Yuan answered. Babe, what's going on? Fang Minhui's voice came through. I heard you're on campus. Can you spend some time with me today? Shen Yuan replied. Come to the school office and wait for me there. He thought, now that I'm a semi-public figure here, I can't be casually seen walking next to Hui anymore. Got to keep rumors under control. He stood up and said to his friends, I'm heading out. Don't wait up to game. Then added with a smirk, Don't worry, brothers. Your spring'll come. Old Sao gave him the fingers. Come on, even summer's passed and I'm still alone. A few moments later, Fang Minwei hugged Shen Yuan and said, I missed you? Shen Yuan said, let's talk inside. Fang Minwei said, you're famous now. Every girl on campus knows you. Shen Yuan pulled her closer and said, Really? Shen Yuan and Fang Minhui sat down on the couch, and Fu Yingzi said, "Yep, even your private info got leaked online." Shen Yuan said, "People must be really bored." Fang Minhui stood up and closed the blinds on Shen Yuan's office, saying, "Boys should know how to protect themselves, okay?" Shen Yuan said, "Sure, but what's that got to do with closing the window?" Fang Minhui suddenly showed off her perfect behind and said, "Because I can also do things here, you know. Do you want to?" Shen Yuan said, "Not now, Wee. I've got a meeting." Fang Minhui pulled Shen Yuan up and said, "Stand up then." Shen Yuan sweated and said, As Fang Minhui played with Shen Yuan's pants, she turned around and said, "Like this. Do you like it?" Shen Yuan said, "Yeah." Outside, Fu Yingzi heard pounding noises and thought, "Wait, that sound, something's off." She put her ear closer to Shen Yuan's door and thought, "That definitely doesn't sound like business talk." She ran down E-Hall and thought, "My boss is powerful, but he's definitely not normal. As a secretary, my job now is to guard the door, so nobody hears what's going on inside." 1 class period later, Fu Yingzi, groaning, said, "Is he still not done? My legs are going numb." Shen Yuan's door suddenly opened. Fang Minhui cleared her throat and said, "Ahem." Fu Yingzi was startled. As Fang Minhui walked past her, Fu Yingzi looked away. Fang Minhui thought, "I'm sure you heard just now. So understand this, Shen Yuan's mind, back off." A few moments later, Fu Yingzi came inside Shen Yuan's office and said, "Boss, what did you want to talk about?" Shen Yuan said, "You've done well lately. The hype's building nicely." Fu Yingzi said, "It's all thanks to your leadership. I couldn't have planned that stuff on my own." Shen Yuan said, "With this momentum, we'll get loads of applicants to the startup incubator. When screening those applications, filter them first. We need practical projects." Fu Yingzi asked, "What's the filtering standard?" Shen Yuan said, "Pick those who reflect our school's new image. Even though our school's not elite, we've got one major advantage." Fu Yingzi asked, "What's that?" Shen Yuan said, "Our female students are really attractive." Fu Yingzi thought, "Seriously? Boss spent all this money just to find pretty girls. Is that not just openly choosing concubines?" She asked aloud, "Boss, is this really appropriate?" Shen Yuan said, "We're offering opportunities. Since we'll have so many applicants, why not choose ones who are easy on the eyes too?" Fu Yingzi said, "Understood. I'll filter them first, then pass them on to you." She thought, only our boss could describe choosing beauties in such a righteous way. Shen Yuan said, "Have you finished designing that second round evaluation test?" Fu Yingzi said, "Yes, it's ready." She thought, so that's why he asked me to design a test. It gives a valid excuse to eliminate candidates without making a scene. Fu Yingzi asked, "Boss, should we leak the answers to preferred candidates so they can pass?" Shen Yuan said, "Smart thinking." But Fu Yingzi thought, what's the difference between me and ancient officials offering beauties to the emperor? Am I betraying my education? But if those girls end up with other blokes, would it really be better? It's a mutual choice. If they don't apply, they're never considered. Besides, I get paid 10,000 yuan a month. Loyalty's part of the job. Fu Yingzi said, "In that case, let me present your first candidate." Shen Yuan asked, "How old is she?" Fu Yingzi said, "Around my age, maybe a bit older." Shen Yuan said, "I meant her actual age." Fu Yingzi blushed. "Oops, sorry." She took out her phone and said, "She's 19, second year. Her nickname on campus is Little Dragon Girl." She showed her phone. Shen Yuan thought, "So, I get to be the dragon rider?" He saw a picture of Long Jinghan and said, "All right, I'll befriend her first. Send me her WeChat." Shen Yuan, while alone in his office, received a text from Lin Yuchang saying, "Shen Yuan, are you free tonight? Want to grab a drink?" Shen Yuan said to himself, "Back then," she said, "next time we'll continue." "I didn't expect it to be so soon." He typed back, "Are you sure you just want a drink?" Then he sent a message, 9 o'clock tonight. Lin Yuchang blushed. Shen Yuan actually replied instantly. "I didn't expect that after just 2 nights of drinking with him, that kind of thing would happen." and I even felt that teenage flutter of first love again. She tried to doze off, absent-mindedly playing with her sexy soft legs, whispering, "I really hope time moves faster, hurry up and be 9 o'clock already." A few moments later, Shen Yuan looked at his G-Wagon and noticed a lot of letters on his windscreen and side mirrors. He picked up one of the notes. It read, "Can we be friends? Bust size 36E. Here's my contact info." Shen Yuan silently broke into a cold. Suddenly, a beautiful lady waved at him. "Hi, Shen Yuan." Her sister, with a huge soft chest, added, "My sister and I want to go shopping. Could you give us a ride?" Shen Yuan looked back at them while cleaning his windscreen. Then he opened the door and said, "Sorry, I've got someone else to pick up soon. There's not enough room." The sexy sister said, "Oh, then can we at least add you on WeChat? Maybe we can hang out next time." Shen Yuan rolled his window down a little and replied, "Sorry, my WeChat contact list's full. I can't add more people right now." The sisters looked at Shen Yuan silently. Lao Sao, watching from the side, said, "You see that? That's what it's like being rich, the kind of girls we can't even dream of. He just brushes them off." Lao Huang added, "He's just taller, better looking, and richer. Why do so many girls like him?" Lao Cao said, "Just a little richer. That's a 3 million yuan G-class Benz. We might never earn that in a lifetime." Lao Huang sighed. "With a car like that, forget girls. I want to get in the car." Lao Cao said, "Bro, you're a bloke. Have some dignity." Lao Huang said, "A bloke, so what? If it meant financial freedom, I'd pledge loyalty too." Lao Sao replied, "Thinking about it, not the worst idea." At 9 o'clock, Shen Yuan and Lin Yuchang met at the coffee shop. Shen Yuan asked, "More troubles at home?" Lin Yuchang replied, "Shen Yuan, I want to ask you something." "Go ahead." She blushed and asked, "Do you believe in love?" As she played with her drink, Shen Yuan thought of a girl and said, "You could say I do, or say I don't." He said to himself, "In high school, I really did believe in love. That fluttering feeling with my first love, that had to be real love. After the breakup, I never felt that again. Not with Joe wanting, not with Nana, Lulu, or Hui Wei. Something was always missing." Lin Yuchang pouted. "Shen Yuan, that answer's way too vague." Suddenly her phone rang. She answered, "Yes, I'm calling about an air conditioner repair." The repairman on the other end said, "When would be a good time? We can arrange for someone to come over." Lin Yuchang replied, "Any time tomorrow, morning or afternoon works." "All right, our technician will call you tomorrow." "Thanks." Shen Yuan asked, "Your AC broke?" She nodded, "Yeah, it's been days. I've just been using a fan at night." Shen Yuan said, "You didn't need to call a repair bloke. I'm pretty good at this stuff." Lin Yuchang looked at him, surprised. "You know how to fix air conditioners?" Shen Yuan said to himself, "System, I want to use my last skill pack redemption card." A system notification appeared. Host may choose from basic cooking, basic combat, basic appliance repair, basic race car driving. Shen Yuan said to the system, "Basic appliance repair." He pressed redeem. A system notification confirmed. Redemption successful. Host can now repair televisions, refrigerators, exhaust fans, and air conditioners. Shen Yuan looked at his hands and thought, "My hands suddenly feel more nimble. This must be the dexterity boost for using tools like screwdrivers and wrenches." He looked at Lin Yuchang and said, "Course I can fix it. I learned this trade. Is your husband home?" Lin Yuchang replied, "No, why?" A few moments later, at Lin Yuchang's place, Shen Yuan began to open the split-type air conditioner. Lin Yuchang thought, Zhang Shunyong said he wouldn't be home tonight. The kid's at his grandparents' in the countryside, so bringing Shen Yuan back, even if it's just for the AC repair, it still feels a little off. Shen Yuan said, "It's just dusty from not being cleaned in a while. I'll clear out the dust and wash the filter. It'll be fine." Lin Yuchang thought, "Before letting him in, I was still worried he might try something. But now that we're alone in the house, is he really just here to fix the AC?" Starting to doubt my own attractiveness a bit. She then left the room and said to herself, "Feeling a bit messy in the head. Going to take a shower to clear my thoughts." Lin Yuchang said aloud, Shen Yuan, thanks. I'll go take a shower real quick. 15 minutes later. Lin Yuchang came out of the shower, wet and in a comfortable outfit. She was shocked as the air was cool. Shen Yuan said, "There, cold air." Lin Yuchang said, "Wow, it really works. Thanks, Shen Yuan." "I don't even know how to thank you." Shen Yuan said, "Want to thank me? Come here." As Shen Yuan pulled her close, Lin Yuchang sat down and thought, "What if Zhang Xianyong comes back right now?" She whispered, "No." Suddenly, Shen Yuan pushed her onto the bed and said, "Why not?" He came closer and said, "From now on, if anything in the house breaks, let me fix it. Your heart and your body. Let me fix those too." As Shen Yuan took off her slightly wet shorts, Lin Yuchang looked away, blushing, and seductively whispered, "Shen Yuan, Shen Yuan." She gripped the blankets tighter. Lin Yuchang peeked at Shen Yuan and thought, "Let's just call it payment for fixing the air conditioner. It's not like he hasn't already had me before. So this is what it feels like to fully get into the moment." She hugged Shen Yuan tightly and thought, compared to this, being with Zhang Xianyong felt like a complete waste of time. He's just so weak. A few moments later in the elevator, Zhang Xianyong, drunk, said, "Damn it, disgusting." He walked down the hallway and said, "You act all high and mighty when we drink, but you won't even do it for more cash." He opened the door. Lin Yuchang sweated and thought, "Oh no, was that the door?" Zhang Xianyong actually came home. Lin Yuchang looked at Shen Yuan and gestured. "Shh." She thought, if Zhang Xianyong really finds out, I'll lose all the advantages of getting a divorce and splitting the assets. I might even be ruined completely. Shen Yuan stood up and said, "I'll go lock the door." Lin Yuchang was shocked. She thought, how's his heart so calm in a situation like this? She watched Shen Yuan locking the door. Outside, Zhang Xianyong said, "Huh? No one's home?" And she left the air conditioner running. "You think electricity's free?" Inside, Shen Yuan went back to Lin Yuchang. Zhang Xianyong, still drunk, said, "Stupid woman lazing around all day doing nothing, can't even handle simple chores. Can't even pour me a glass of water." Tried to open the room and thought, what's going on? Why is the door locked from the inside? Shen Yuan came closer to Lin Yuchang and said, "Shh, miss, you don't want your husband to have a hard time, do you?" Lin Yuchang closed her mouth as Shen Yuan played it down and crouched. Outside, Zhang Xianyong said, "Still holding a grudge with me, huh? So I came home late? Big deal. Sitting in my position. Of course I have to attend some social events." Inside, Lin Yuchang tried to be quiet while Shen Yuan did his own business. Zhang Xianyong opened the guest room and said, "Not letting me in? Fine. At least I don't have to do any husbandly duties tonight. Even better, I'll be more energized for tomorrow." He collapsed onto the bed and said, "Yeah, tomorrow night, the bar." A few moments later, Zhang Xianyong said, "Huff, huff," as Shen Yuan placed Lin Yuchang against the wall. Lin Yuchang whispered, "Shen Yuan, not so loud. My husband's just on the other side of the wall." Shen Yuan said, "He's already asleep. He won't hear a thing. Relax. That's what makes it so thrilling." As Zhang Xianyong scratched his behind in the other room, he drooled. Huh. Shen Yuan said, "His snoring's so loud, I'm moving in rhythm without even realizing it." Lin Yuchang trembled in pleasure, thinking, Shen Yuan's playing with fire. I cannot lose control. I absolutely cannot make a sound, absolutely. As she made a nahegao face and continued telling herself, but he's right. This feeling's just unbeatable. The next morning, Zhang Xianyong woke up and sat up, saying, "Ugh, my head. That bar must have sold fake booze last night." He came outside and saw Lin Yuchang in the kitchen preparing breakfast. Zhang Xianyong thought, what's this? She hasn't made breakfast in 2 years. What's got into her? But having a good wife at home and side options outside. This is the life. A man's life should be just like this. Zhang Xianyong said, You locked the door again last night. How was your sleep?" Lin Yuchang replied, "Slept great." Zhang Xianyong sweated and thought, wait, this is too strange. She's suddenly so nice to me. Something must be up. He then stormed into their room and thought, did she do something behind my back? No hair on the bed, no strange stains, trash bins clean, no tissues, no signs of protection either. Maybe I'm just overthinking. As he sat down at the table, Lin Yuchang said, let's eat. Zhong Xianyong said, I could have sworn I heard some banging against the wall in my dreams. Did you hear anything? Lin Yuchang said, nope, you must have imagined it. I slept really well. Zhong Xianyong said, then I must have imagined it. Didn't you say the air conditioner was broken? It seems fine to me now, Lin Yuchang said. I had someone come fix it. She poured herself a glass of milk and thought, that sound you heard was the air conditioner being repaired. He didn't just fix the AC. He fixed my heart, too. She blushed as she thought of the fun things she did last night with Shen Yuan. Meanwhile at the cafe, Li Ying, Zhou Wanting's bestie, said, Wanting, what's wrong with you? 2 days without sleep. What happened? Zhou Wanting said, Yinjing, you don't get it. My ex is living the high life now. I seriously feel like dying. Li Ying sat down beside her and asked, which ex? Zhou Wanting said, Shen Yuan, duh. You make it sound like I had a whole list. Li Ying said, how did Shen Yuan get rich? Didn't he sell his car after his family went bankrupt? Zhou Wanting said, you have no idea. After we broke up, it was like he took off, spent 3 million buying a house for some woman, bought a Porsche 911 for a fitness trainer that was another 2 million. Li Ying said, seriously, over 5 million spent just like that. How do you know it's true? Zhou Wanting said, that woman was my personal trainer. She told me herself, even posted about the car on social media. She showed her phone. Li Ying took her Chinese phone and Zhou Wanting continued. After she got with Shen Yuan, she quit her job. Yinjing, why am I so unlucky? That should have been me. She thought, I must have been out of my mind back then. I actually dumped Shen Yuan for Ho Jun. Now that Shen Yuan's rich, I can't even sleep at night. Li Ying said, Wanting, the past is the past. Just find someone new. With your looks, it's not hard to find a good bloke. You work at an airline. You meet rich men all the time. A millionaire's easy to find. Zhou Wanting smirked and said, a millionaire? I wouldn't even look at someone worth less than 10 million now. Li Ying sweated after hearing Zhou Wanting. Zhou Wanting suddenly stood up, determined and a bit crazy, saying, Yinjing, I want to get back with Shen Yuan. She then looked down and said, but Shen Yuan blocked me on WeChat and phone. I can't even find him at school. How can he be so heartless? Li Ying said, it's too late to think about that now. Just live your life and lower your expectations a bit. Zhou Wanting looked crazy at Li Ying and said, Yinjing, you're my bestie. You know me. I cannot lower my standards now. Not one bit. Just thinking about how Shen Yuan's throwing cash at those other women makes my heart bleed. That money should have been mine. As she grabbed Li Ying's wrist and pulled her, saying, no way, Ying, you have to come with me to find him. Li Ying secretly wrote a message on her phone as she was being dragged out by Zhou Wanting. The message said, someone drop me the number for Xingcheng Mental Hospital as soon as possible. My friend's losing it. If a doctor doesn't come soon, something bad's going to happen. At Junyu Hotel, elsewhere at the same time. As Liu Menglu looks outside the window, still amazed at the view, Shen Yuan prepares to go to the shower and appreciates the view of the sexy back and figure of Liu Menglu and said, Coach Liu, what are you doing? Spacing out in front of the river view. Liu Menglu looks back and said, it's strange. Your fitness and meal plans are all scientifically designed, but your gains in weight and muscle are far beyond what I expected. You're improving much faster than normal people. Shen Yuan said, I'm not like other people. As he opens the door to the shower room, the system said, height, 182 centimeters, health, 70, BMI, 20.8, body fat, 18.3%, immunity, 70%, brain activity, 71, Shen Yuan said to himself, with regular exercise, even my immunity and brain activity improved. This fitness task shouldn't just be a task. It should become a habit. Most people are in sub-health conditions. Once my startup base stabilizes, I'll go public with this. improving public health while making money and building influence. A few moments later, Shen Yuan said, Coach Liu, no need to wait for me tonight. I've got other plans. Liu Menglu said, got it. You go ahead. I'll wait for your call. She said to herself, every morning I prepare fitness meals and clothes for Shen Yuan. I finally feel needed. Maybe this way I can stay by his side forever. Outside, Shen Yuan said to himself, Hui was one of the first with me. Aside from 2 bags and a vague promise of billions, she didn't get much. Even Nana and Lulu, who came later, got houses and cars. I owe her. Today I'll make it up to her properly. Meanwhile, at the Hunan Cuisine restaurant near the university gate, Song Wan said, Minhui, this place is great. Do you often come here with classmates? Feng Minhui said, sometimes with friends. Cousin-in-law eat more. Zhang Zhen said, Minhui, what's the career path for your international trade major? You're in your 3rd year now, right? Time to think about internships. As Fang Minhui eats with cousin, Song Wan and cousin-in-law Zhang Zhen, Fang Minhui said, internship starts next semester. I haven't thought much about jobs yet. Zhang Zhen said, you should prepare early. Your uni isn't top tier, so you'll need to plan carefully. Fang Minhui said, understood. Song Huan said, by the way, do you have a boyfriend? If not in college, it's harder after graduation. Zhang Zhen said, she's right. My cousin's a senior at Shanghai University, already interning at a Fortune 500 company, well liked by his boss. If you don't have a boyfriend, maybe you two could connect. Fang Minhui said, no need, I already have a boyfriend. Song Huan, shocked, said, when did this happen? Why haven't we heard? Fang Minhui said, he's a classmate. We've only been together for half a month, so I haven't told the family yet. Zhang Zhen said, dating isn't a game. Your school isn't top tier. Picking just anyone could make life harder after graduation. Fang Minhui said, thanks for the reminder, but I don't think life will be hard for me. Zhang Zhen said, Minhui, you haven't worked yet. Let me be honest, graduates from your school often end up in small companies with average pay. You and your boyfriend may struggle financially. My cousin at least has solid prospects. Song Huan said, all right, she's got her own plans. Zhang Zhen said, I'm just worried her boyfriend might not be good enough and she'd suffer. Fang Minhui said, don't worry about me. She said to herself, Shangda, Fortune 500, that's nothing compared to my Shen Yuan. If I told them, cousin-in-law might get traumatized. She stood up and said, cousin, I'll need to leave early. Song Huan said, you've got plans this afternoon? Fang Minhui said, my boyfriend's taking me to buy a house. Song Huan and Zhang Zhen were shocked as they sweated. Song Huan said, huh? Buy a house? Zhang Zhen said, that's not a joke, right? What's his family background? Even if Star City isn't as pricey as major cities, a place still costs 1 to 2 million. No sane family would buy a house for the girl before marriage. Suddenly Shen Yuan arrived in his G-Wagon. Fang Minhui points at him and said, I'm not joking. I'm not sure about his family, but he personally has money. Look, he's here. A few moments later, Shen Yuan came inside and said, Hui Bao, ready to go? Fang Minhui pulls Shen Yuan's arm and pressed her huge soft chest to Shen Yuan and said, Shen Yuan, this is my cousin and cousin-in-law. Shen Yuan said, sorry, I promised Hui I'd go house shopping today. I can't join you for lunch. I'll treat you next time. This meal's on me. Song Wan said, it's fine, no worries. We're all family now, plenty of chances later. Shen Yuan and Fang Minhui walk away as Zhang Zhen, still in shock, said, they're really going to buy a house. Song Huan said, he drives a 3 million yuan car. Buying a house is nothing. You, on the other hand, kept bragging about your cousin's achievements and even tried setting her up with him. Song Huan and Zhang Zhen sweat as Song Huan said, what a facepalm moment. Zhang Zhen remained silent. A few moments later, Shen Yuan said, all right, Hui, 166 square meter furnished flat, 2 parking spots, 3.02 million paid in full. You're now a homeowner. Fang Minhui said, Shen Yuan, I don't even know what to say. Shen Yuan said to himself, This house purchase earned me a 6.04 million rebate. Now my liquid assets hit 31.79 million. Shen Yuan said, "Don't know what to say. I'll find you a Japanese romantic movie later. You're so smart, you'll definitely learn it." Fang Minhui looks at Shen Yuan blushing and said, "Oh, stop it." Shen Yuan said to himself. Minhui's favor rose from 91 to 93. Reaching 100% will take time and effort. Let's try pushing it further tonight. Meanwhile, Long Jing'an in her bed sent multiple messages to Shen Yuan saying, "Hello, Senior Shen. What are you doing?" "Senior, I want to ask about starting a business," Long Jing'an said to herself. "Shen Yuan accepted my friend request but hasn't replied to any messages. What's going on? No matter how busy he is, can't he reply just once? Sigh. I hate people who beg for attention, yet I've become that person." A senior said, "Girls, don't get caught up in this. The competition's too fierce, chasing Shen Yuan's useless." A girl said, "Our dorm's full of quality girls. Why should we lower ourselves?" Her friend said, "Exactly. Focus on studying, getting certificates. Let's hit the Long Jing'an sat up and said to herself, "Library? You mean sneaking out to draft a business plan again? Don't be so dramatic." As she steps down seductively from her bed, she said to herself, "True, for a billionaire like him, what girl wouldn't fall for it? I can't judge, I'm the same." She pulls out a chair and said to herself, "Let's work on the business plan." In a different scene, Shen Yuan said to Fang Minhui, "Hui, have you thought about your future?" Fang Minhui said, "Not really. Should I apply to the business incubator?" Shen Yuan said, "Maybe, but I've got other ventures too. I'll set something up for you." Fang Minhui, shocked, said, "Yay!" Shen Yuan thought, "With Hui being the possessive type, if she's always on campus, I can't operate freely. To build my own team, she can't always be around." Shen Yuan showed his phone and said, "Didn't you want to learn some foreign techniques? Let's see. Hebe Kaihua, Matsumoto Ichika, Yayoi Miyuki. Which teacher will you choose?" Fang Minhui said, "Shen Yuan, how do you know so many names?" As she blushed, Shen Yuan said, "I just searched them online. I didn't know until now." Fang Minhui looked away and said, "Oh, fine, then I'll randomly pick one with my eyes closed." 20 minutes later, Fang Minhui said, "Shen Yuan, this feels just right. Do you like it?" Shen Yuan said, Hui bowed, "Don't stop." Fang Minhui said, "Didn't expect I could learn this. If I keep it up, you'll want to be with me even more, right?" Shen Yuan thought, "For a class beauty trying this hard, I need 10 more like her." The next morning, Shen Yuan's phone rings. Li Yuhang said, "Shen Yuan, quick, get out here." Shen Yuan said, "Li Yuhang, bro, what's the emergency?" Li Yuhang said, "No time for chatter. I've sent you the location. Get over here now." Shen Yuan, confused, looks at his Chinese phone and said, "What's going on?" Li Yuhang said on the phone, "Yuan, change of plans. I'm at Shuiyunjian now, hurry over here." Shen Yuan, annoyed, said, "You tell me you changed the place when I'm almost there." His voice rose in frustration. Li Yuhang said, "I just got here. A few mates dragged me along. Honestly, I'm not even interested." Shen Yuan said, "Don't explain, just hurry up. I'll wait for you downstairs at Shuiyunjian. If you take more than half an hour, I'll castrate you." Shen Yuan got out of his G-Wagon and sighed to himself. "Shuiyunjian is near my counselor's house. It can't be that unlucky to run into her, right?" Li Yuhang came out and said, "Hey, what's the point of standing outside waiting? Come in for a little service." "No, 98 is amazing." Shen Yuan said, "Not interested. I've already got the top beauties at my side. I don't care." Li Yuhang looks at the G-Wagon of Shen Yuan and said, "Wait a second, Yuan. Is this car yours? What's going on?" Shen Yuan said, "What do you think? I just bought it." Li Yuhang said, "You lucky git, you bought a G-Wagon." "That's my dream car." Shen Yuan said, "Cut it out. What exactly did you call me out here for?" Li Yuhang gave a thumbs up at Shen Yuan and said, "The bar? You're one of the shareholders, right? Don't just disappear. The interior finishes'll be done in 2 days. Come on, let's go talk while getting service." "No, 98'll blow your mind." As Councillor Li Xiao and Li Meng walk at the back talking to each other, Li Meng suddenly spots Shen Yuan and said, "Hey sis, is that Shen Yuan?" Counselor Li Xiao sweats and said, "Yep." Li Yuhang continues, "Your face just changed. Are you into her?" "Oh, 98. No, 98. Shen Yuan, shocked, thought, "Oh no, that's the counselor." Counselor Li Xiao looks at Shen Yuan with sadness, and Li Meng looks at Shen Yuan with anger. Shen Yuan suddenly waves at them and said, "Counselor, what a coincidence," as he sweats nervously. Li Yuhang looks back at Counselor Li Xiao and Li Meng and whispered to Shen Yuan, "Yuan, who are they? She's gorgeous." As Counselor Li Xiao and Li Meng walk away, Shen Yuan said, "Wait. Li Meng pulls Counselor Li Xiao away as they walk faster. Shen Yuan sweats and said, "Going home to cook. Mind if I join? I can help out." As they ignore Shen Yuan, Li Meng looks back and said, "Help out? Shen Yuan, have you got no shame coming to a place like this? How could you do this to my sister?" Shen Yuan said, "You're misunderstanding. I'm just here waiting for someone." Li Meng said, "What kind of excuse is that? My sister's been trying to accept you. She even prepared a return gift for that bag you gave her. And I don't want to say anything else. Just go die, you git." She pulled Counselor Li Xiao and said, "Sis." As Counselor Li Xiao looks back slightly at Shen Yuan with sadness, and Li Meng continues, "You scumbag, go find your number 98. As Counselor Li Xiao's love rating towards Shen Yuan rapidly goes down to 69, 68, 67, 66, and lastly 65. Shen Yuan thought, "What a mess. We were this close and now such a huge misunderstanding." Li Yuhang said, "Yuan, was that your new girlfriend? Want me to explain for you?" Shen Yuan said, "Forget it. She's angry right now, and your explanation won't hold weight." He thought, "I guess I really hurt the counselor this time." Li Yuhang looks ahead and blushed as he said, "Yuan, sorry, I didn't think it'd turn out like this. But who was she? I haven't seen her before." Shen Yuan said, "My counselor, she also teaches business English." Li Yuhang was shocked and said, "Darn, you even got your teacher. What else are you hiding? Spit it all out and give me the whole story." Shen Yuan said, "I'll find a chance to smooth things over with her. Come on, let's find somewhere to sit and talk." A few moments later at Chen Na's coffee shop, Chen Na said, "Shen Yuan, you're here." Shen Yuan said, "Brought a mate for coffee." "Nana, one iced Americano and one vanilla latte, please." Chen Na said, "Got it," as Li Yuhang waves at Chen Na with a smile. A few moments later, Li Yuhang and Shen Yuan sat down. Li Yuhang looks at Chen Na and said, "Eh, I think I've seen her somewhere before." Shen Yuan said. "You forgot," Li Yuhang said. "Who is she?" Shen Yuan said, "That day at Nanjing restaurant, Lin Guanyao's cousin brought her as his girlfriend." Li Yuhang, shocked, sweats and said, "Wasn't she a car saleswoman at a 45 dealership? How's she working here now? Don't tell me you went after your mate's girlfriend." Shen Yuan sweats and said, "Not went after. It's called mutual attraction." Li Yuhang imagines Chen Na and Counselor Li Xiao as he said, "Man, you've got teachers, and you're taking someone's girlfriend. Yuan, you're seriously something else." Shen Yuan said, "Enough about that. Regarding the bar, I'm stepping back. From now on, you handle it fully." Li Yuhang said, "So sudden? Without your brain power, I'm afraid I'll crack under the pressure." Shen Yuan said, "I believe in you." He thought, when brothers do business together, too much interference can cause clashes in vision or ideas. I won't let that ruin our friendship. Li Yuhang said, "I'll do my best not to disappoint you, Yuan." Chen Na arrived and said, "Your coffee's ready." Li Yuhang said, "Thanks, sister-in-law." Chen Na blushed and said, She looks at Shen Yuan and said, "Shen Yuan, your shirt's wrinkled." Shen Yuan looks at his shirt and said, "Where?" Chen Na said, "Here, fixed." Li Yuhang sweats as he drinks his coffee and thought, "You two are so lovey-dovey. Darn, being here with you today makes me feel like my life's missing something." At night, Shen Yuan and Chen Na walk inside Chen Na's apartment and she said, "Jinyu finishes her college entrance exam next week and she wants to get some experience during summer break. I think she could work at the cafe. What do you think? Shen Yuan said. Sounds great. No problem. Chen Na walks ahead and said, Hey, I'll take a shower first. Busy day today, worked up a sweat. A few moments later, Shen Yuan looks at his Chinese phone and thought, better call the counselor to explain. As Shen Yuan calls Counselor Li Xiao, he sweats. Counselor Li Xiao doesn't answer, and he scratches his head and thought, she's not picking up. No replies on WeChat either. I wonder how she's doing. At Li Xiao's home, Li Meng said to Counselor Li Xiao, so annoying. How does he even have the face to call? Sis, just block him so he can't bother you again. As they stare at Counselor Li Xiao's phone ringing, Li Meng hugs Counselor Li Xiao for comfort and said, Sis, Shen Yuan's no good, not worth your sadness. At least we found out what kind of bloke he is today. In a way, it's a good thing. As Counselor Li Xiao cries in sadness, Counselor Li Xiao said, Why do blokes like going to those places? Li Meng said, Isn't it obvious? 9 out of 10 men are lustful. They go there just to, Counselor Li Xiao said, But why do men get carried away like that? Li Meng blushed and said, They've got physical needs. If they're not met, they look for excitement. I've heard the women at those places are very good at making men happy. Counselor Li Xiao remembers their first encounter and thought, He hugged me and kissed me, and I pushed him away. She looks down and self-reflects. Counselor Li Xiao said, Maybe I've made him hold back too long. Maybe he just needed to resolve it. It's all my fault. All my fault. Li Meng said, Oh my God, sister, what are you even thinking? That's such a twisted thought. Love brain is scary. Li Meng holds Counselor Li Xiao's soft arms and said, Sister, look at me and think carefully. What happened last time when I lost myself in love? Li Meng said, as they stare into each other's eyes. Counselor Li Xiao sweats and thought, Li Meng's right. I can't get swept up in love. I need to control myself, control. In the messages, Yi Jiang said, Shen Yuan, any hope for my project? Gao Hongwei said, Brother Yuan, come out for barbecue. I've invited some girls from other colleges to chat about the project. Waiting for you. Lu Mingda said, Handsome, got you a fuel card. Let's eat in the private room at the canteen tonight. Long Jinghan sent an image sent. Shen Yuan looks at his Chinese phone and thought, all just classmates I rarely talk to, trying to butter me up for favors. Not worth looking at. But wow, Long Jinghan sent me quite a lot. As he reads the messages saying, Hi senior, the weather's great today, you must be super busy, don't forget to eat. Good morning, hope you have a great day. The wind was so strong last night, so many fallen leaves on campus. Shen Yuan thought, her photos are indeed pale and soft-looking, but definitely filtered. Got to meet in person to judge. This junior's got potential. Needs further observation. Shen Yuan sent a message saying, Pretty busy, we'll chat when free. He smirks and thought, a few days with no response and she still keeps messaging to classic clingy autopilot mode. The shorter I reply, the more she obsesses. That sense of distance gives her hope. Chen Na suddenly said seductively, Shen Yuan, as she wore her old work clothes without a blouse inside and looked sexy. Chen Na said, You like it? Shen Yuan said, Nana, you're messing with my spiritual focus today. Shen Yuan suddenly rips her stockings. As Shen Yuan carries Chen Na said, Shall we go inside? Shen Yuan said, Can't wait. Nana, you're amazing today. Chen Na said, Shen Yuan, you seem different today. As Shen Yuan smells her neck, Shen Yuan said, Different how? Chen Na said, Like, more solid? Have you been working out? Shen Yuan said, Yeah, I've been hitting the gym. Let's move to the couch. Shen Yuan sat down and said, Nana, do you know horseback riding? Chen Na said, No. Shen Yuan holds her hand and said, Get on. I'll be your free training equipment. Let's go ride real horses next time. Chen Na said, Isn't what you're doing now different from horse riding? Shen Yuan said, It's the same. Come on and try it. As Chen Na rides the horse, and Shen Yuan said, Not bad, Nana. You've got real talent as a lady knight. The next day at School Youth League Committee, the teacher opens the door. As a student said, Teacher, I'm here to submit my business startup application and plan. Another said, Teacher, where should I put mine? His friend said, Teacher, I came first, take mine first. As papers are slapped in the face of the teacher by the students, she thought, usually, no one applies for entrepreneurship. What happened over the weekend? Why are so many girls here all of a sudden? At the gym, Shen Yuan received a call from his secretary Liu Menglu while running with Shen Yuan said, Call from secretary, who's this? Shen Yuan answered the call and Fu Yingzi said, Boss, we just got the first batch of startup applications. A total of 653 submissions. Shen Yuan said, Gender ratio. Fu Yingzi said, 628 females, 25 males. Shen Yuan said, Sort through 'em. Keep the good ones. Toss the trash. As the teacher said on the door, Don't rush everyone. Line up. One at a time. Fu Yingzi whispered to Shen Yuan, Wait, does that mean all the blokes are getting rejected? Shen Yuan said, No. If any male's got a strong proposal, pass it over too. Fu Yingzi said, Got it, boss. Shen Yuan thought, If we only have pretty girls, we'll end up like a talent agency. We really do need to train capable people. Otherwise, when System Daddy gifts me assets, I'll have no one to manage them. Liu Menglu said, Shen Yuan, you didn't answer my question just now. Shen Yuan said, She's just one of my school subordinates. What, getting jealous again? Liu Menglu said, No, just curious. As Shen Yuan pats Liu Menglu's head, Shen Yuan said, Don't overthink, we're strictly professional. A system notification said, Detected third female with 90+ affection. Milestone reached. Rewards incoming. Shen Yuan thought, My dear Liu, just a few words, and I'm reaping big again. As her heart rating towards Shen Yuan is at 90, Shen Yuan thought, Every time an NPC hits 90% affection, the rewards are insane. What is it this time? A system notification said, 5mm growth in girth, 30 million filial piety fund, 2 exclusive skill card vouchers. Shen Yuan thought, Darn, it's real. That growth bonus is absolutely nuts. No bloke would ever say no to that. System, activate the first reward. As Shen Yuan's pants shine brightly inside, Shen Yuan thought, Warmth, down there. As he looks down, he said in joy, Whoa, that's obvious. Shen Yuan suddenly came down from the treadmill and said, Coach Liu, come here for a sec. Liu Menglu said, Huh, what's up? Shen Yuan grabs Liu Menglu's hand and said, No time to explain. Upstairs. Now. Liu Menglu said, What's going on? A few moments later, at the shower, Liu Menglu said, Wait. Shen Yuan. Something's off. Shen Yuan said, What's off? Liu Menglu said, You feel different. Am I imagining things? Does working out really change? That too. Shen Yuan said, Maybe it's not me who changed. Maybe it's you. Liu Menglu said, Really? Then be gentle next time, okay? I really can't handle it. As she blushes, Shen Yuan said, All right, my Liu Bao. I'll warm you up first next time. Shen Yuan thought, The effect's wild. Yup, this reward's legit. A few moments later, Liu Menglu rests on her bed with joy as Shen Yuan touches her face and said, Coach Liu, you rest. I'm heading out. Shen Yuan walks to the door and thought, Seems like this new weapon's not just for Liu Bao. Nana and Hui Wei will need to get used to it too. Next time, no rushing. It's been a day since the misunderstanding, but the counsellor still won't answer calls or messages. If this keeps going, it'll only drive the wedge deeper. How do I prove I didn't do anything wrong? What matters is getting the chance to explain. I've got to talk to her in person. She should be home this afternoon. Shen Yuan knocks on Councillor Li Xiao's door, and Councillor Li Xiao said, Who is it? Shen Yuan said, I'm from downstairs. Your bathroom's leaking into mine. Councillor Li Xiao opens the door and was shocked, saying, It's you, lying to me again. Shen Yuan holds the door open and said, Let me in. Councillor Li Xiao said, Why? What do you want now? As Shen Yuan held the door open, he said, I feel like there's something we need to talk about clearly. Yesterday you definitely misunderstood me. Counselor Li Xiao replied, Misunderstood? Don't tell me you didn't do anything at a place like that. Shen Yuan said, I really didn't do anything. Counselor Li Xiao looked away and said, I don't believe you. And I don't want to hear your explanation anymore. Just go. Shen Yuan opened the door and said, That bloke yesterday was a childhood mate. He asked to meet about business, and it was only when we were almost there that he said he changed the place to that clubhouse. It just happened that you and Li Meng saw us. I've been trying to explain. I called you all day, and you didn't pick up. Counselor Li Xiao sweated and looked at Shen Yuan, saying, Then how do you prove you were just waiting for someone? Shen Yuan took out his Chinese phone and showed it to Counselor Li Xiao, saying, Look, here's our chat. He sent me the location. At first it was a restaurant, then he changed it to that clubhouse. When I arrived downstairs at Shuyunjian, I even urged him to come down quickly. If you still don't believe me, we can check the surveillance footage. Counselor Li Xiao was shocked while reading the messages on Shen Yuan's phone. She looked down and murmured, Shen Yuan sounds convincing. Both the reason and the evidence are solid. Shen Yuan quickly pocketed his Chinese phone, hiding the other conversations inside, and said, Counselor, how could I possibly go to a place like that for fun? You've really misunderstood me. At that moment, Counselor Li Xiao's affection toward Shen Yuan began to rise. 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69. Then a few moments later, 70. Counselor Li Xiao said, Shen Yuan, I'm sorry. I really didn't expect it to be like this. Shen Yuan thought, didn't expect the counselor's affection rating to not only recover but jump from 69 to 72. As he stared seriously at Counselor Li Xiao, Shen Yuan smiled and said, It's okay, as long as we've cleared it up. I'm a bit thirsty though, can I come in and have some water? Counselor Li Xiao sweated and said, Shen Yuan, you again, trying to pull the same stunt as before. She muttered, Your past reckless behaviour's still fresh in my memory. Shen Yuan said, I'm genuinely just thirsty. I came right after lunch and my throat's parched. Just one glass and I'll leave. He tried to look like a good puppy. Counselor Li Xiao asked, Really? Shen Yuan replied, Course. Counselor Li Xiao said, Then, wait a sec. She slammed the door shut. Shen Yuan blinked in confusion. Huh? 12 seconds later, Counselor Li Xiao opened the door and handed him a bottle of water. Here, drink. Shen Yuan thought, Why does this feel like you're guarding against a predator? There's zero trust left. Is this how you see me now? He gave an awkward smile. Counselor Li Xiao slammed the door again, leaving Shen Yuan sweating outside. An old auntie nearby said, Youth should be patient, can't rush hot tofu. Having watched the whole scene, the old auntie shook her head. Shen Yuan answered, Auntie, if you don't act fast, someone else'll eat it first. You snooze, you lose. The auntie blushed and thought, You young ones have such sharp tongues. Still, this one's handsome, tall, good build. Rare to see a wolf pup of such high quality. Maybe I'll go with my girls to the club and order a male model. A few moments later, while Shen Yuan was about to get into his G-Wagon, his phone buzzed. Counselor Li Xiao had sent a message. Shen Yuan, come hang out with me this weekend. Shen Yuan thought, this visit wasn't in vain. Not only was the misunderstanding cleared, but her affection improved, and she's even willing to get closer now. Suddenly, Shen Yuan's Chinese phone rang. Su Xiuwei was video calling. Mr. Shen, she said, the plumbing and electrical work's done. When would you like to come review it? Shen Yuan replied, I'm free now. Wait for me. I'll be there in a bit. 1 hour later. Su Xiuwei waited outside and saw Shen Yuan. Shen Yuan said, Wait long. Su Xiuwei startled and stood up. No. Shen Yuan smiled. Why so nervous? I'm not going to eat you or something. Take me inside for a look. Su Xiuwei nodded. Sure, Mr. Shen. Let me walk you through everything. Shen Yuan thought, Once she talks about her specialty, she's so confident. That's what you call professionalism. He admired the elegant curve of Su Shewei's back. Su Shewei said, waterproofing, plumbing and underfloor heating have been completed. Next, you can choose tile styles. They walked outside, and Su Shewei added, courtyard designs also been arranged as per your request. Shen Yuan followed and said, good job. With you managing, I'm at ease. It's getting late. Let me treat you to dinner tonight. Su Shewei shook her head. Sorry, Mr. Shen, I've got to go home tonight. Shen Yuan frowned. What for? Su Shewei replied softly, I need to cook for my... He suddenly turned away, hitting Su Shewei as she said, confused. Huh? Shen Yuan felt her body for a moment and thought, wow, she really has quite the figure. Su Shewei blushed, sweating, and said, Mr. Shen, you... Suddenly rain began to pour. Shen Yuan said, heavy rain, let's get inside quickly. Su Shewei answered, Her thin white shirt was soaked through by the storm. Shen Yuan quickly raised his arm above her, trying to shield her from the rain. Su Shewei realized how sheer her shirt had become and covered herself, saying, Mr. Shen, don't look. Shen Yuan replied, I didn't mean to look, it's just too eye-catching. Su Shewei shivered, then sneezed. Shen Yuan immediately hugged her from behind and said, this should help keep you warm. Su Shewei was stunned. She glanced up at him and thought, I've never been this close to a man before. My whole body feels tingly. I want to push him away, but he's such a big client of my boss. If I offend him... Shen Yuan teased, why are you staring? Is it because I'm handsome? Su Shewei blushed, thinking, is he being narcissistic or just joking, eh? What should I say? No one ever taught me how to deal with this. Shen Yuan smirked to himself. So innocent. She can't even handle a little teasing. But she's blushing, which means she doesn't hate it. That gives me room to push further. He imagined pulling her even closer, feeling her whole body pressed against his. 30 minutes later, Shen Yuan checked outside. The rain stopped. Let's go. I'll take you home. He was still holding Su Shewei close. Su Shewei said softly, Mr. Shen, can you take your hand off me first? It's been half an hour. Shen Yuan quickly stepped back, scratching his head. Sorry. I was just worried you'd be cold. 40 minutes later. Shen Yuan parked outside Su Shewei's place. She said, Mr. Shen, I'm home. Thank you for dropping me off. Sorry for the bull. Shen Yuan asked, can I come in and sit for a while? As he looked around, he thought, I figured her family wasn't well off, but I didn't expect it to be this bad. This is practically a condemned building. Su Shewei said, it's okay, but I need to cook for my family, so I won't have time to entertain you. Shen Yuan replied, you go ahead. I'll just sit for a bit and then leave. Outside, neighbors were gossiping. An old lady whispered, what kind of car's that? Looks expensive. An uncle answered, a G-Wagon, at least 3 million. An auntie gasped, that much? Then is that bloke Su Shewei's boyfriend? The old lady added, he's already bringing gifts and visiting her home. I reckon it's confirmed. Another auntie fanned herself and said, Su Shewei's finally turning her life around. No more hardship for her. But another muttered, don't be so sure. Rich people care about status. Why would he be interested in a family like that? The old lady whispered, yes. Rich second generations are just playing around. There's plenty of sweet, kind girls out there. Why would he pick one with a dead father, a crippled mother, and a burdensome brother? Hey, you two, have some decency, the uncle scolded, making the women sweat in embarrassment. Her younger brother, Su Jingji, ran to greet her. Sister, you're back? Su Shewei smiled. Xiaoji, are you hungry? I'll cook right away. Shen Yuan asked, is that your younger brother? She nodded, then turned to the boy. Xiaoji, this is my friend. Say hello to big brother. But the shy boy hid behind her. Su Shewei apologized. Sorry, shy. Then she hurried to her mother. Mum, why are you up? Her mother smiled faintly. I'm fine, just wanted to stretch my legs. Shewei, who's he? Su Shewei said, my friend. Shen Yuan greeted politely. Hello, auntie. Her mother thought, Shui's never brought a man home before. Could it be? She said. Shen even brought all these gifts. You shouldn't have. Come in, sit down. Sure, Shen Yuan replied. Inside, Su Jue said, Shen Yuan, take a seat. I'll go cook. Her mother turned to her son. Xiaoji, pour some water for your big brother. 30 minutes later. Food's ready, let's eat, Su Jue announced. Xiaoji cheered. Yay, sister's cooking's the best. She served steaming rice, her dishes sparkling with flavor. Her mother said warmly to Shen Yuan, just simple home-cooked food. Next time you visit, I'll prepare something special for you. Shen Yuan smiled. Auntie, you're too kind. Just being able to eat Shui's cooking's more than enough for me. Is that so? Then eat more if you like it, her mother said happily. As Su Shuiwei gently wiped food from her brother's face, Shen Yuan looked at the scene and thought, no wonder Shui's got such a unique temperament. At her age, she's already the pillar of the family. She had no choice but to grow strong. After the meal, Shen Yuan stood up to leave. Su Shuiwei hurried after him, calling, Mr. Shen, wait! You brought so many things earlier. Let me transfer the money to you. Shen Yuan turned back, took her phone and said, lend me your phone for a second. Su Shuiwei was shocked. Shen Yuan walked away and said, I'll get going now. Goodbye. See you next time. As Su Shuiwei looked at her phone, she was shocked by the message that read, ICBC, your card ending in XX received a deposit of 50,000 yuan on May 13, 1942. Su Shuiwei almost threw her phone and muttered, He transferred 50,000 yuan to me. She rushed to the window and shouted, Shen Yuan! Wait. But Shen Yuan kept walking, pretending not to hear. Sitting inside his G-Wagon, Shen Yuan thought, 50,000's not much for me, but it can improve Zhui's family life for a while. I just don't know if she'll accept it. I couldn't even see her affection rating. Sigh. If she doesn't want it, I'll deal with that later. But I can faintly feel that something I lost is slowly returning. What exactly is it? He then drove away. A few moments later, Shen Yuan called Fu Yingzi and said, Secretary, speak. Fu Yingzi answered, Boss, the shortlist ready. Out of 653 applicants, we selected 12. The female-to-male ratio's 1 to 11. I've sent you the files and all 11 girls' lifestyle photos to your email. Shen Yuan replied, Well done. Bonus this month. Fu Yingzi said with delight, Thank you, boss. I'll leave you to it then. Call me if needed. Shen Yuan thought, Friday's old Shen's birthday. I need to prepare a gift. With that 30 million filial fund, old Shen and Madame Li are fortunate folks. And then Hui Nana, Coach Liu. 1 night each. No more, no less. Balance is everything for a true water carrier master. Even as he managed multiple relationships, he carefully kept his balance. At Su Shuiwei's home, a gossiping auntie said to her mother, That bloke who visited earlier, was he Zhui's boyfriend? Her mother replied, I don't know, she hasn't said anything. The auntie continued, That bloke's clearly rich. The car he drove costs at least 2 to 3 million. Su Shuiwei's mother gasped, that expensive, the gossiping auntie grinned. If Shuiwei ends up with him, life for you and Xiaoji could really improve. You'd better talk to her properly. Her mother said firmly, Shui's marriage is her own choice. I don't want her to feel forced into marrying someone wealthy just for us. The gossiping auntie countered, I don't know what Shui thinks, but that man clearly likes her. He even came to the house. That must mean something. Even if she doesn't like him, you should nudge her in the right direction. Another older auntie interjected, You're all assuming too much. He just came to sit down. That doesn't mean he's courting her. The gossiping auntie argued, If he's here at the house, it definitely means something. The older auntie shook her head. Maybe he was interested, but after seeing the condition of this home, that interest probably vanished. Su Shuiwei's mother closed the door quietly. She walked toward her daughter and asked gently, Zhuwei, tell me honestly. Su Shuiwei, who was washing dishes, turned her head slightly and said, What happened, Mum? Her mother asked, What's your relationship with that man? Su Shuiwei replied, He's a major client at work. He came to inspect the site. It started raining, and he just gave me a ride home. That's all. Her mother came closer and asked softly, "Isn't he interested in you?" Su Zhiwei thought, "Today, he was acting kind of strange, but during our meal last time, wasn't there a beautiful woman with him? She looked like his girlfriend." She thought of Liu Menglu. Looking down at the dishes, Su Zhiwei said quietly, "I don't know." Her mother sighed. "You don't even know that, then how do you feel about him?" Su Zhiwei muttered, exhausted. "He's just a client." Her mother nodded. "All right, I understand. Don't mind what Aunt Zhang said earlier, your father's no longer with us. You've carried this home on your back. Your brother and I owe you so much. I just want you to be happy. You should never feel like you have to marry a rich man for our sake, all right?" Su Zhiwei hugged her mother tightly and whispered, "Mum, I understand. Don't worry." Yet her mind was unsettled. She couldn't help but think about what happened earlier that day, when she had accidentally pressed her soft chest against Shen Yuan, when he had hugged her from behind while she was soaking wet, and how she had blushed, confused, and sad. Meanwhile, at Liu Menglu's place, Shen Yuan leaned close, inhaling the scent of her neck. She trembled in bed. A few seconds later, Shen Yuan lifted her chin playfully. On the bed, he changed positions as Liu Menglu trembled, feeling something small wiggling inside her. In the morning, Shen Yuan received a call from Fu Zhengmei. She said, "President Shen, this is Fu Zhengmei from Guanting Decoration. You finally picked up." As Liu Menglu slept peacefully, Shen Yuan asked her, "What's the matter? Is it urgent?" Fu Zhengmei replied, "Sorry to bother you, President Shen. I was hoping to speak about my apprentice, Su Zhiwei." Shen Yuan said, "All right, hold on, I'll be there." A few hours later, Shen Yuan asked, "Calling me this early? Did something happen to Zhiwei?" Fu Zhengmei replied, "Yesterday you transferred her 50,000 yuan. She tried to send it back, but you didn't accept it." Shen Yuan said, "Yes, that's true." Fu Zhengmei continued, "Please don't take this the wrong way. I only asked her because she looked so worried at work this morning. Zhiwei isn't that kind of girl. What you did made her feel very uneasy. She won't accept the money. Please just take it back." Shen Yuan said, "You called me here just for that?" Fu Zhengmei said, "President Shen, if you're serious about pursuing her, you'll need to put in real effort. She's not the type to be impressed by money." Shen Yuan answered, "Actually, I didn't mean anything by that transfer." Then, glancing at his Chinese phone, he muttered, "Well, that doesn't matter now. I'll just go ahead and accept it then." On his phone it showed, "Your card ending in XX received 50,200 yuan on May 14th, Euro 942. Shen Yuan thought, "She even added 200, probably to repay me for what I bought yesterday. She's so stubborn." Turning back to Fu Zhengmei, he asked, "Has Director Wan recently asked Su Zhiwei to attend any project dinner parties?" Fu Zhengmei replied, "Not at all, sir. Don't worry. She's strictly supervising your site now." Shen Yuan said, "All right then, thanks for your time. I'll take my leave." As he left, Fu Zhengmei thought, Zhui being with Shen Yuan would be a dream come true. Her whole family's life could change overnight, but that girl's stubborn and principled. She won't fall easily for a man. Sigh. So many women chase shortcuts nowadays. Girls like her are rare. A few moments later, inside Shen Yuan's car, Lin Yuchang called and said, "Shen Yuan, are you free tonight? Want to grab a coffee?" Shen Yuan replied, "Yeah, let's just go to your place." Lin Yuchang said, "But my husband might be back tonight." Shen Yuan replied, "That makes it even better." Blushing, she said, "Then come over." Shen Yuan added, "I haven't eaten yet. I'll need energy to fix your air conditioner." Lin Yuchang giggled softly. "I'll cook something for you." At 6 o'clock in the evening, Shen Yuan arrived. "What are you making?" he asked. Lin Yuchang glanced back and replied, "Kidney and eucalyptus soup." Shen Yuan thought you even picked ingredients like this. Married women really do understand men. He suddenly came close to her and asked, "Did you ever make this for your husband?" Lin Yuchang shook her head and said, "No, never. This is my first time. I just learned it online." Shen Yuan asked, "When does your husband usually get back?" as he teased her by playing with her tummy. Lin Yuchang whispered, "Probably around 9 o'clock. Shen Yuan smirked and said, "That means we've got about an hour and a half left. Lin Yuchang looked back and said, it feels different from last time. She felt something tiny poking from behind. Shen Yuan said, "Do you like it?" as he breathed in the scent of Lin Yuchang's neck. Lin Yuchang said, 1 hour later, Shen Yuan said, "It was my first time making it, but it turned out pretty good." Lin Yuchang said, "You liked it. I can make it for you more often." Shen Yuan said, "That might be inconvenient, no?" Lin Yuchang said, "Not at all. I've already decided to divorce him. I want to pursue real happiness." Shen Yuan said, "That's wonderful. Sister Lin, I'm happy you're brave enough to make this decision." He thought, "Even though I still want to enjoy the thrill of playing the scoundrel, your happiness matters more." Lin Yuchang's heart rating towards Shen Yuan rose to 66. Lin Yuchang said, "Thank you, Shen Yuan. It's because of you that I made up my mind." Shen Yuan said, "Hey, don't pin this on me. I'm not the one breaking up your marriage," as he squeezed Lin Yuchang's soft cheeks. Lin Yuchang said, "That's not what I meant, and you know it." Her heart rating towards Shen Yuan climbed to 69. Shen Yuan thought, "Still, this works out for me. Once she's divorced, I can spend money on her openly again. Is Sister Lin one of those people whose favor skyrockets with just a bit of attention? 1 or 2 more visits and a few outings, and she'll be at 90% in no time." A few moments later, Zhang Xianying arrived at the parking lot and thought, "A G-Wagon? No one in our community drives that kind of chick magnet car." He suddenly saw Shen Yuan inside the G-Wagon and said in shock, "Wait a second. That bloke looks familiar. Where have I seen him before? Ah, he's that rich bloke who bought a car for Chen Na and started sponsoring her. What's he doing here in our neighborhood? Strange." A few moments later at Zhang Xianyong's place, Zhang Xianyong said, "Wow, you made soup for me. You're getting more thoughtful every day." Lin Yuchang thought, "Sorry, darling, that soup wasn't for you." She took a long sip of the soup even without a spoonful. Zhang Xianyong sat down and said, "It's so hot in here. Why not turn on the air conditioner? A fan's not going to cut it. No need to save electricity like this." Lin Yuchang said, "I'm not hot." She thought, "What's there to be afraid of? I'm just worried the room still smells like Shen Yuan." Zhang Xianyong said, all right, I get it. Since I've had the soup, I'll go wash up and give you a good time afterward." He began taking off his shirt. 10 minutes later, Zhang Xianyong tried to open the room and said, "Why's the door locked again? Did the soup mean you wanted me to perform? What's going on? Did I take too long in the shower and she fell asleep?" Zhang Xianyong lay down on the sofa and said, "Shh, you had your chance and missed it. I'll take my pistol and shoot it on someone younger tomorrow." The next day, as the applicants gathered, Fu Yingzi looked at the applicants with a smile and thought, "Based on Shen Yuan's feedback, I've revised that 1 to 11 plan. Now there are 2 male leads, and the girls are mostly past or present campus goddesses, especially these ones, like Senior Yayu from the flight attendant class. She's 175 centimeters tall, gorgeous, and everyone from seniors to freshmen's crazy about her. And Aisha, the new girl everyone's calling Little Dilraba, plus Zhang Man from the cosplay scene in Star City. Her Mai Shiranui cosplay alone got her 200,000 followers on Douyin." Long Jinghan thought, "Darn it, I'm dressed so plainly today. Competing with girls like these is too much pressure." International Trade Class 2, Shen Yuan's class representative, Entron, thought, "Wait a minute. These girls are literally the school's top-tier beauties. This isn't some startup pitch, it's clearly a harem plan. And here I thought Shen Yuan was inspired by entrepreneurship. I was too naive, and why did he include me in the selection list? What am I, his eunuch? Darn it, Shen Yuan plays dirty. Better beg my audience for money." As Senior Yayu, Aisha the Little Dilraba, Zhang Man, and Long Jinghan became the top picks in Fu Yingzi's mind. She posed seductively and thought, "Now let's watch the boss make his next move." Mo Zhenwang said to Chao Yi, "Hello, classmate. My name's Mo Zhenwang. It's great to finally see a fellow countryman." Shen Yuan suddenly said, "Class president, I'm surprised you need to start a business." the class president said, "Mr. Shen, I come from an ordinary family. Of course I have to seize every opportunity to climb up." Meanwhile, a sexy lady on a video call with her boyfriend exclaimed, "It's Shen Yuan." A geeky girl also said, "Shen Yuan's here." Long Jinghan overheard the other ladies speaking. Shen Yuan said, "I remember your name's Mo something." Mo Zhenwang quickly replied, "Boss, my name's Mo Zhenwang." Shen Yuan said, "The reason you two passed the preliminary reviews mainly because your business plans are down to earth, not just empty talk. After all, starting a shop at school requires practicality and catering to the students' daily needs. I recall one of you as opening a fried food shop and the other's a fruit shop, right?" Mo Zhenwang said, Yes, that's right, mine's the fried food shop." Shen Yuan said, "There's no fried food shop at the school, so you'll be filling a void. As long as the food tastes good and is reasonably priced, business'll definitely be good. The key is that the storefront provided by the startup hub's right below the girls' dormitory. So, class president, your fruit shop's got a lot of potential too." Mo Zhenwang blushed and thought, "Hearing this, it feels like the two of us have been chosen." Qiao Yi thought, "Given the current male-to-female ratio, our projects are most likely just here to make up the numbers. After all, if the startup hub were entirely female, there'd be public outcry. Shen Yuan's smokescreen's pretty slick. But I don't care, as long as I can get the investment." Shen Yuan said, "Classmate Mo, I saw on your application that your CV says you worked as a social network opinion leader," Mo Zhenwang replied. "To put it simply, an internet water army." Shen Yuan asked, "Do you have your own team?" Mo Zhenwang said, "I do. I've got a group of 100 people. We've fought together several times and organized many large-scale." Shen Yuan interrupted, "Okay, stop. You two can go back for now. I need to interview the female students next." The female students behind blushed, looking at Shen Yuan with admiration. Shen Yuan thought, "In the future, when I have my own industries and companies, Mo Zhenwang's resources might come in handy." 2 hours later, Shen Yuan sat down on the couch in his office and said to Fu Yingzi, "The little secretary did a good job. I didn't have high hopes, but there are actually a few absolute gems who are both beautiful and intelligent." Fu Yingzi replied, "When you work for the boss, you've got to give it your all." As she fixed the files on Shen Yuan's coffee table, Fu Yingzi walked out of Shen Yuan's office and saw Long Jinghan waiting outside. She said, "Junior, the interviews are over. Is there something else?" Long Jinghan said, "Senior, there's something I'd like to discuss with Mr. Shen." Fu Yingzi looked at Shen Yuan and whispered, "Boss, what should I do?" Shen Yuan said, "You can go out first." As Fu Yingzi walked outside, Long Jinghan closed the door. Shen Yuan said, "Go ahead. What is it?" Long Jinghan said, "Senior, may I ask if I was rejected?" As she thought about Shen Yuan gazing at the large chest of Jiang Man and her cosplayer friend, Long Jinghan told herself, "During the interview just now, his gaze was mainly on those two. He barely even looked at me," Shen Yuan said. "We'll only know the final list after the final review exam." Long Jinghan asked, "Then, do I have a chance?" Shen Yuan replied, "Did I not just give you one?" Long Jinghan thought, "That's right. The fact that he let me back in the room, this is my chance." She said aloud, "Senior, I currently hold a junior accounting certificate and an international certified public accountant certificate. I'm also studying for the junior economist exam. Although I don't yet have practical work experience, I can handle all the work for the startup hub, such as being the cashier, preparing financial statements, organizing transaction data, and handling cost accounting." Shen Yuan said, "Shouldn't a job like that be done better by an experienced old accountant?" Long Jinghan broke into a sweat and fell silent. She thought, the line of blokes chasing me could stretch from the school's front gate to the back gate, but they're all bafflingly overconfident, poor, and pathetic. Not a single one's worth a look. After waiting for 2 years, I've finally found a big fish like Shen Yuan. How many times in life do you get a chance to go all out? If not now, when? I, Long Jinghan, must capture him. Long Jinghan suddenly leapt onto the couch beside Shen Yuan, leaned close, and smelled the side of his neck. She said, "I should be prettier and have a better figure than an old accountant." Shen Yuan looked at Long Jinghan blushing and thought, "That's true. Accountants are easy to find, but pretty accountants with good figures are very hard to find." Long Jinghan gently unbuttoned her blouse and said, "Senior, what do you think?" Shen Yuan said, "What you said makes a lot of sense." As Long Jinghan held Shen Yuan's hand, she whispered, "Shen Yuan." Then she leaned in and began kissing him, her voice soft between breaths. 40 minutes later, Shen Yuan tossed a tissue into the bin and said to Long Jinghan, "Be my woman, and I won't let you lose out," he thought. "I didn't expect little dragon maiden to still be a virgin." Shen Yuan said, "We'll go shopping this weekend." Long Jinghan, still lying against him, murmured, Her heart's favor rating toward Shen Yuan reached 61. Long Jinghan thought, "From now on, I've got a place in Shen Yuan's heart. It may not be much, but it's better than nothing." Shen Yuan thought. Little dragon maiden's favors appeared. Very good. Another 10 minutes later, Fu Yingzi was waiting in the hallway when Long Jinghan stumbled out of Shen Yuan's office, limping slightly. She muttered, "It hurts. It hurts." Fu Yingzi rushed over and grabbed her. "Jinghan, why did you have to do this?" Long Jinghan blushed and said, "It's nothing, Senior RHT. Now I can feel happiness more genuinely than ever before." Inside the office, Shen Yuan was on the phone saying, "Tomorrow's Friday, Lao Shen's birthday. I'll check on the birthday gift I ordered for him. That car. And of course, I can't favor one over the other. I've got to arrange the gold jewelry that Mum likes as well. Tomorrow, I'll make sure Lao Shen and his wife have a lively celebration." The next day, Shen Xuan playfully tugged on Shen Yuan's arm and said, "This car for Dad's so impressive, B. I want my own car too. I can get my driver's license during the summer break." "Bro, what do you say?" It was Shen Yuan's younger sister, Shen Xuan. Shen Yuan smiled. "No problem." Mother Shen frowned. "Son, don't spoil your sister. She's just finished her college entrance exams, and you're already letting her indulge. There's still a long road ahead." Father Shen entered the car and said, "Mum, Xuan just wants a car, it's nothing. Let's go, Lao Shen. Uncles and aunts are probably waiting for you." Shen Yuan got into the car and said, Yes, let's go to the hotel first." Shen Xuan pouted, "Mum, you don't dote on me at all. Good thing I've got a brother." Mother Shen scolded, "Hey, a girl should act like a girl. We're not at home. Let's go, get in the car." A few moments later, at the hotel, uncles and aunts were already waiting. Short-haired aunt said, "Why aren't they here yet? They're the ones hosting the dinner. How can they make us, the guests, wait?" The wife of Shen Yawood added, "Yes, if something came up, they should have at least told us. They made us come so early, but they haven't even arrived themselves." She thought, although our Yaode borrowed money from his family before, we already paid it back long ago. But when they owed money and we went to ask for it, not only did they act tough when paying it back, they even kicked Yaode out. Elegant aunt said, "This one's my fault. Hongwan called me yesterday and asked me to pass on a message, but I completely forgot." The wife of Shen Yaode frowned. "That just shows they didn't plan things well. Why did they only call your family and not ours?" Short-haired aunt said, "Exactly. It's their own family affair. Why would they have someone else notify people?" At the table, the uncle with glasses thought, "Everyone here's received more or less help from the second brother's family in the past. Now that his family's gone bankrupt, every single one of them's jumping out to criticize. A bunch of ungrateful wolves." The smoking uncle said, "The second brother's family's already in this state, yet they still want to put on airs in front of us. Well, this birthday toast of his might not go down so smoothly today," the wife of Shen Yaode said. "Third uncle, in a moment, will be counting on you." Shen Yaode chuckled. "Hey!" The uncle with glasses wiped his sweat and thought, "This birthday dinner for the second brother, oh boy." Uncle Shen Yaode said, "Ayong, I see you've changed cars. Business at the factory must be doing pretty well, huh? Ayong replied, just making a little money. You need a good car to save face when discussing deals. Otherwise I wouldn't have let go of my old ride. Uncle Shen Yaode poured Ayong a cup of cold tea and said, new cars still need proper care. Come get a membership card at my place. Car washes, coating, polishing, waxing, tinting. I'll give you a 30% discount. Ignoring him, Ayong said, hey bro, maybe give second brother a call. The kids are getting hungry waiting. Their family's gone bankrupt, but they're still putting on airs. It's too much. First brother wiped his sweat and thought, Ayong's wife and Shen Yuan's mum have a strained relationship from past events. Plus, Shen Chuan's grades always beat their daughters. Now that Shen Yuan's family's down, they dare to talk like this. Uncle Shen Yodi asked, is something wrong with their family? Why are we waiting so long? First brother said, just wait a bit more. It's your second brother's birthday. He gets priority. Suddenly the door opened. Father Shen said, sorry for keeping everyone waiting. I had something to handle. I'll make it up with 3 shots later. First brother quickly stood up. It's fine, we didn't wait too long anyway, and it's not even dinner time yet. Ayong's wife, with a mocking tone, said, no worries. Being hungry a little won't kill us. Ayong glared at her. Watch your mouth. If you can't say anything nice, zip it. He then turned to Father Shen. Second brother, seriously, if you're busy, we can always help pick you up. Inwardly, Ayong smirked. Second brother's family has no car anymore. Ha, after being overshadowed all these years, now's our time to shine, Shen Yuan said calmly. Third uncle, I'll count on you to be on call then. Father Shen thought, not worth arguing. He sat down and said, come on, let's all sit. Dinner's about to start. Ayong shoved his hands into his pockets, grumbling inside. This nephew's got no respect. Fine, I'll show off a bit then. Father Shen sipped his tea and thought, 3 penalty shots. Ayong then stood up, taking out his car keys. He deliberately dropped them onto the floor. Wow, second brother, you're actually doing it. Take it easy. No one's blaming you anyway. Ayong, sweating, glanced at Uncle Shen Yode and thought, hey, Shen Yode, didn't you see me drop my car key? Shouldn't you be helping me pick it up right now, or do you not want that membership deal anymore? But Uncle Shen Yode thought coldly. You just rejected the card idea earlier, and now you want me to play along for free. In your dreams, Shen Yuan bent down, picked up the Toyota car key and said, oh ho, third uncle, got yourself a new ride? Trying not to laugh, he handed the Toyota key back to Ayong. Ayong muttered, that old Volvo was long overdue for a change. Shen Yuan asked casually, which model? Ayong puffed up proudly, BMW X7, not expensive. Shen Yuan said with feigned amazement, that still runs you at least 1 million yuan, and you're calling it cheap. Third uncle, you're seriously low-key. Ayong bragged, I got the mid-tier version. On-road cost was just 1.1 million. Yuan, you know, I once told your dad, stick to real industries. Tourism's got too many risks, not the safest business. Shen Yuan clapped his hands lightly. Third uncle's amazing. Ayong smirked. Oh, I'm just trying to get by. So satisfying, he thought. His wife whispered, this fool nephew's still playing the hype man. My dear, this whole show needs a face-slap ending. Ayong whispered back, what do you know? Don't push it too far. If they start asking to borrow money, are you going to pay? Shen Yuan suddenly smiled and said, old Shen, even your younger brother's got an X7. How long are you going to hide that Maybach of yours? He glanced at Father Shen and winked. The stage is set. Feel free to flex now. Father Shen blushed and muttered, it's just a car, not worth mentioning. Ayong's wife gasped inwardly. A Maybach? Second brother's family? Ayong thought in disbelief. Even the base model costs at least 1.7 million. Uncle Shen Yode frowned. I thought they were broke. How did they afford it? First brother asked in shock. Second brother, you really got a Maybach? Father Shen said calmly. Thanks to my son, I got a great car. Ayong broke into a sweat, muttering in his heart. Come on, jokes are fine, but don't take us for fools. His wife thought, how could that be possible? Uncle Shen Yaode's wife whispered to herself, everyone knows Shen Yuan's a spendthrift, still in college no less. First brother wiped his sweat nervously. Second brother used to be so steady. Is this a drunk slip-up or what? Ayong blurted. You're joking, right? Shen Yuan bought it for you. Shen Yuan leaned closer to Father Shen and whispered, Old Shen, you're way too tolerant. After all that third brother said earlier, and you didn't fire back. Father Shen said, sighing, I actually told Shen Yuan not to buy such an expensive car. He wouldn't listen. I mean, 3 million? There's so many better things to do than buying such a fancy ride. Uncle Shen Yaodi's wife sweated and thought, Wait, how much? 3 million? That pricey? Uncle Shen Yaodi thought, just dropping 3 million like it's nothing. Where did Shen Yuan even get that kind of cash? A waitress suddenly came into the room and said to Shen Yuan, Excuse me, sir, is that silver G-Class yours? Sorry, it's blocking another car. Could you move it? Shen Yuan said, Oh sure, I'll go handle that. The uncles and aunties froze at the table like stone, struck with shock and confusion. Ayong whispered to Uncle Shen Yaode, Wait a minute, so it's not just a Maybach, they've got a G-Class too. Together that's over 6 million. Uncle Shen Yaode sweated and replied, Could it be that their family didn't just recover, they thrived? He then stood up, sweating, and said, Bro, congrats. You're a real winner now. New car needs care, come get a membership at my place. I'll give you a 30% discount. As he tried to serve his lukewarm tea, Mother Shen said, Shen Yaod, how dare you bring that up now? Back then you harassed them over debt like a vulture, and now you're selling memberships again. Ayong thought, to think second brother's family bounced back this hard, and he didn't even flaunt it. Makes me feel like I'm the one trying to show off. As he looked at the car keys of a true Maybach lying at the other end of the table, ignoring the delicious food. And so, the dinner ended in this atmosphere. A few moments later, inside Shen Yuan's G-Wagon, Shen Xuan said to Shen Yuan, Bro, you were awesome today. Hee, Shen Yuan said. You're too young to understand. I'll take you home first. I've still got something important to handle later. Shen Xuan said, Bro, staying home's boring. I want to go out too. I already know what you're up to. If it were really important, you'd have handled it earlier. Shen Yuan said, Nobody knows a brother better than his sister. Fine, I'm off to see your sister-in-law. A few moments later, Shen Yuan and Shen Xuan got out of the car. Shen Xuan looked at the Maserati beside the parking lot and said, Bro, this car's insane. How much does it cost? Shen Yuan said, On road, 2.73 million. Shen Xuan, shocked, said, That much? Wait, how do you know what they paid? Shen Yuan said, It's your sister-in-law's car. I bought it. Shen Xuan was shocked and said, What? Liu Menglu suddenly came out and said, Shen Yuan's here, come in. As she blushed, Shen Xuan hid behind Shen Yuan, and Liu Menglu asked, Who's this? Shen Yuan said, My younger sister Shen Xuan. Chen Na, Liu Menglu, and Hao Qianqian all looked at Shen Xuan. Chen Na said, Your little sister's here too, you two really look alike. Come in. Hao Qianqian said, So cute. Chen Na said, Have some fruit. Liu Menglu said, Try this coffee too. Shen Xuan, overwhelmed, thought, Huh? All three girls are treating me so warmly. Even their tone sounds kind of flattering. What's going on? She looked back at Shen Yuan and thought, Wait a sec. Bro, which one's actually my sister-in-law? Liu Menglu said, Qianqian and I knew Nana was moving, so we came over specially for her housewarming. Little sister, let me introduce myself. My name's Liu Menglu. You can just call me Sister Menglu from now on. And this is the owner of the house. Her name's Chen Na. You can call her sister Nana. Shen Xuan said, Then you must be my sister-in-law, right? As Chen Na looked at Shen Yuan, inquiring silently, Shen Yuan, let's see how you explain this, Shen Yuan said. Well, actually, the two ladies next to her are also your sisters-in-law. Shen Xuan was shocked and said, Huh? Both of them are my sisters-in-law. She thought, Is this really my brother? Playing such a wild game, and how can they coexist so harmoniously in the same room? Liu Menglu confidently stood, and Chen Na looked down and blushed. Ho Chianqian sweated nervously in the back. Shen Xuan sweated and said, "What my brother said is it true?" Liu Menglu said, "Yes, it is, little sister." Chen Na nodded with extreme affection. Shen Xuan said, "Bro, you're such a scumbag, Shen Yuan thought, "Oh, my dear Xuan, this is just the beginning. If you can't handle just 2 of them, will your entire worldview not collapse as the harem expands in the future? You'd better get used to it early." Lu Menglu said, Xuan, if there's any place you want to go have fun, just tell me, and we'll go together." Chen Na said, "My sister just finished her college entrance exams too. She's heading to Star City tomorrow. You two will have more in common, although my sister's much more introverted." Shen Xuan said, "Don't worry, sister-in-law. After hanging out with me for a few days, she'll open up. I guarantee it." Ho Chianqian thought, "I can't believe they hit it off so quickly. I guess it's true what they say, birds of a feather flock together. At Shen Yuan's family gathering, I'm such an outsider, just here to warm the bed, and I witnessed an iconic scene." "Oh, and a flashback," Ho Chianqian said to Liu Menglu. "You two are like this, and you can still coexist harmoniously in the same room?" Liu Menglu replied, "A man's a man, but a best friend's a best friend. In ancient times, there were many cases of biological sisters sharing a husband, let alone best friends." Ho Chianqian thought, "If you two are really the same as before, why don't you just contact each other directly? Why do you make me act as your mouthpiece every single time? The key is that Shen Yuan's buying sports cars for you two. You're the ones enjoying the sugar daddy, and I don't even get a whiff of anything, yet I've got to put up with this hassle. You really are fake besties." Shen Yuan stretched and said, "You guys chat. I'm going to get some rest." Chen Na turned to Shen Xuan and said, "Xuan Xuan, your brother's going to sleep. Why don't we go shopping? We can buy you some new clothes, shoes, and maybe a bag." Shen Xuan hesitated and said, "Although you sisters-in-law have amazing fashion sense, can I really pull off that kind of look?" Liu Menglu smiled. "Don't worry, Xuan. I'll teach you all my styling secrets." Shen Xuan's eyes brightened. "Wow, that's great!" And so the group quickly went down to the garage. Liu Menglu turned to Ho Chianqian and said, "I left my purse upstairs. Chianqian, wait for me for a moment." Ho Chianqian nodded. "Oh, okay." After waiting for 10 minutes, Liu Menglu sent a text. "Chianqian, you should go ahead and take a taxi. I've got some business to take care of here." Along with the message came a red envelope transfer. Ho Chianqian looked at her phone silently, then sweated and thought, what kind of business could she have at Nana's place? You're taking your little sister-in-law shopping while she takes the opportunity to have a tryst. I give up. You go have your fun and leave me with the job of explaining things to Nana. The key is, how am I supposed to make up an excuse? This is going to kill my brain cells. A few moments later, in Shen Yuan's room, Liu Menglu crept inside and pressed herself against him. Shen Yuan stirred awake and muttered, "What's this pressing on my face?" Liu Menglu leaned down and teasingly licked his earlobe. Shen Yuan's eyes snapped open as he looked at her. "This feeling, is it Coach Liu?" He sat up abruptly. "Are you mad?" Blushing, Liu Menglu whispered, "They've gone shopping. Right now it's just the 2 of us in this house." Shen Yuan frowned. "Then why didn't you go?" She straddled him and smiled. "I wanted to stay here and keep you company." Shen Yuan narrowed his eyes. "I think you were just pulling a secret maneuver, weren't you?" Flustered, Liu Menglu showed off her new lingerie. "What secret maneuver? I don't understand." Shen Yuan pinned her down on the bed. She cooed, "Oh, hubby, I missed you." Shen Yuan raised a brow. "Is that the wrong form of address again?" As she felt something poke against her, Liu Menglu's face turned red. "Daddy, I missed you." Not loud enough. Again. With her voice cracking, Liu Menglu screamed, "Daddy!" 1.5 hours later. Shen Xuan carried armfuls of shopping bags and spoke on the phone. "Bro, Sister Chianqian left first. She said Luluzi had other things to do with her. Nanazi and I are almost done shopping. When are you coming?" Shen Yuan, sitting in his G-Wagon, said, "Wait for me, I'll be right there." A receptionist nearby glanced at the vehicle. "What an awesome car! Wait a second. As Shen Yuan stepped out of the G-Wagon, a man recognized him. "That young man, I remember him. Let me think. I remember now. He's that kid who came to me 3 months ago to cash out his credit. He cashed out everything from his Huabei, Baitiao, and credit cards to buy an LV bag at the IFC. When he came out, he even kept thanking me. How did a bloke like that start driving a G-Wagon after just a month? Where did he get the money so fast? Did he go to the Golden Triangle or northern Myanmar to make it big in some major business?" Later, Shen Yuan leaned toward Chen Na and said, "Looks like you've made your sister-in-law spend quite a bit, huh?" The man nearby broke into a cold sweat and muttered, "Oh, so he found a rich older sister. Ah yeah, it's great to be young and handsome. Find a slightly older rich woman, take good care of her, and you'll get everything." In his imagination, he pictured Chen Na toying with Shen Yuan, pressing her expensive shoe against him, and Shen Yuan humbly licking the dirt from it. Shen Yuan said to Shen Chuan, "Why did you buy so much?" Shen Chuan said, "I did not want to. Your sisters-in-law were just too enthusiastic." As Chen Na placed the other bags into Shen Yuan's G-Wagon, she said, "Xuan Xuan is about to start university, so of course she needs new clothes and bags. I also bought some small gifts for uncle and auntie on the side. I hope they will like them." Shen Yuan thought to himself, "Nana is usually so reluctant to spend a single cent of the 5 million I gave her for pocket money, yet she is incredibly generous when it comes to my parents and Shen Zhuan." Chen Na walked away, showing off her seductive stride, and waved as she said, "Shen Yuan, I am heading back to the cafe first." Xiao Qiu said business is good today, and she is a bit overwhelmed. Shen Yuan said, "Okay, I will go see you tonight a few moments later at the car," Shen Yuan asked, grinning like that. "How much of your sister-in-law's money did you Shen Chuan said, "I think it was over 400,000. Shen Yuan thought to himself, "You are the eldest princess of our Shen family after all. How can you be smiling like that over a few 100,000? What has become of your dignity?" Shen Xuan said, "Oh, come on, brother. Even when our family was well off before, Mum and Dad were never this extravagant." Shen Yuan said, "You know what to say when you get home, right?" Shen Xuan said, "Of course I do. I will just tell Mom and Dad that you found me 2 sisters-in-law." Shen Yuan stepped on the brakes. "Are you trying to get Mom to break my legs? Do you not know she has always been the strictest about matters between men and women?" Shen Xuan laughed and said, "Ha ha ha, just kidding, brother. I know what to say. But how are you going to thank me?" Shen Yuan said, "Did you not just get 400,000 yuan worth of gifts?" Shen Xuan said, "My sister-in-law bought those, not you." Shen Yuan said, "So you are trying to blackmail your own brother, is that it?" Shen Xuan said, Hey, this is business. How can you call it blackmail?" Shen Yuan said, Fine. Next time you see something you like, just tell me." Shen Xuan cheered, "Yay." A few moments later, Mother Shen said, "Did you not say you were just going out for a stroll? Why did you buy so many things?" Father Shen adjusted his eyeglasses nervously, sweat on his forehead. Shen Xuan said, "Mom, these are gifts my sister-in-law bought for you and Dad." Father Shen said, "Sister-in-law? Son, when did you start dating someone new?" Mother Shen asked, "What is the girl's personality like? You bought so many things. Why did you not bring her home for us to meet?" Shen Yuan said, "We have been together for a while. I did not say anything before because I felt the time was not right." Shen Xuan added, "Mum, my sister-in-law's personality is amazing. She is so gentle and considerate, and very wifely." Shen Yuan's parents quickly pulled Shen Xuan aside, bombarding her with a million questions about his girlfriend. Shen Yuan thought to himself, "Good thing I have my little sister. If it were me, I probably would have cracked long ago. There is so much to do. Tomorrow I have to pick up my little sister-in-law, Xin Yu. This weekend I have to go shopping with my counselor. I also have to take the little Dragon Maiden Jr. out to spend money and get cash back. The final review exam for the startup hub starts next week. Once the projects are implemented, I will get that mysterious industry from Daddy's system. Hey, I am really looking forward to it. 10 o'clock in the evening, Shen Yuan opened the door to Chen Na's home and said, Nana, I have to pick up Xin Yu tomorrow, so I will sleep here tonight. Chen Na said, Okay, I just learned something new, and I have been wanting to try it out on you. Shen Yuan grinned. Something new? Nana, now that you have said that, I am not sleepy anymore. Chen Na pressed her soft chest against Shen Yuan's arm and said, Wait for me a second. A few moments later, Shen Yuan brought out hot water and cold water, ice cubes and hot water. Nana, you are not planning on letting me sleep tonight, are you? Chen Na suddenly knelt in front of Shen Yuan. A bright light shone. Shen Yuan, confused, asked, Wait, what is this? Chen Na blushed and whispered, Can you feel it? Shen Yuan gasped, Nana, it is more than just a feeling. I almost lost control. Chen Na, her face crimson, imagined eating a small hot dog. The next day, Mother Shen said to Chen Xinyu, Go over to your sister's place and help her out more since she is busy with work. Chen Xinyu said, Mom, brother-in-law said he is going to hire a nanny for sis. There will not be much for her to do herself. Mother Chen said, What nanny? There is no need to waste money. We can do things like laundry and cooking ourselves. Xinyu, be more sensible and help your sister out more. Chen Na said, Mom, Xinyu is just coming early to get adjusted. With me and Shen Yuan around, nothing will happen. Shen Yuan said, Do not worry, Auntie. We will definitely take good care of Xinyu. A few moments later, Shen Yuan, Chen Na, and Chen Xinyu rode off in Shen Yuan's G-Wagon. Mother Chen's friend exclaimed, Oh my, your son-in-law got a new car again. Looks like a G-Wagon. That must be worth 2 or 3 million. Mother Chen replied, We do not really know about these things. As long as Nana and little Shen like it, that is all that matters. She began to sweat and thought to herself, Ever since little Shen came to our house last time, Xinyu has been completely starstruck. I do not know if that is a good or a bad thing. Inside the G-Wagon, Shen Yuan asked, Xinyu, you did pretty well on your college entrance exams, right? Where did you apply? Chen Xinyu answered, Right here in Star City. Shen Yuan said, That is good too. Being in Star City means there is always someone to look out for you. Your sister has also saved a room for you. Chen Xinyu suddenly remembered Shen Yuan poking Chen Na inside his room. Her face grew hot as she thought, A room at my sister's house. Does that mean in the future I can stay over again? She quickly shook her head, blushed, and looked away. No, that is not a good idea, brother-in-law. I am afraid I will disturb you. Shen Yuan chuckled. What is there to disturb? Your sister gets so bored at home alone. You should go keep her company more often. Chen Na added, Your brother-in-law does not stay at home that often. Chen Xinyu's affection level toward Shen Yuan rose to 60. She thought to herself, My brother-in-law is not much older than me, and he is so gentle when he talks to me. My parents have also gained the respect of our neighbors because of him. Our family situation has completely changed. But why do I feel my heart fluttering like a deer when I look at my brother-in-law today? Shen Yuan broke into a cold sweat and thought, Why did a favorability meter pop up? Has this girl developed some kind of incredible filter for me? Is she trying to tempt me to commit a crime? A few moments later, Chen Na and Chen Xinyu got out of the G-Wagon. Shen Yuan said, Nana, you take Xinyu out to have some fun. I still have things to take care of, so do not wait for me for dinner. Chen Na replied, I know. Go do your thing. Half an hour later, downstairs from Li Meng's place, a guy stood in the parking lot, parked like a total fool, occupying 2 slots. On the phone, he pleaded, Meng, just give me another chance. I just made a mistake that any man would make. Do not be like this. I did not mean for it to happen that time. How about this, Meng? You come down first. Just give me one chance to explain in person. Shen Yuan recognized him immediately and thought, he is Li Meng's ex-boyfriend. No wonder Li Meng has such a huge grudge against cheating men. The torrent of abuse I got from her at the club entrance last time was all because of this kid. If you cheat, you cheat, but to keep pestering her after breaking up. In that case, I will have to help Li Meng out. Although I am not expecting her to feel indebted to me, my counselor will understand my good intentions. After all, when you love someone, you love everything about them. It cannot be helped. Suddenly, Li Meng's ex shouted, "How did you park? You are blocking my car." Shen Yuan frowned. "What is with the short temper? You are the one taking up 2 parking spaces and being rude. In that case, I will not bother being polite either." He rolled down his window and said, "What is wrong with parking here?" "So what if I blocked you? It is not like the car inside is mine anyway." The ex snapped, "You are blocking my car and you are still acting so self-righteous. Does having money make you that great?" Shen Yuan narrowed his eyes. "You are Li Meng's ex-boyfriend." The man froze. Who are you?" Shen Yuan said casually. "Guess." The ex stormed out of his car, slamming the door. Could you be Li Meng's current boyfriend?" Shen Yuan remained silent. The ex began sweating, clenching his fists. "So that is it. No wonder she refuses to see me. Turns out she has found herself a sugar daddy. With Li Meng's terrible personality and temper, you two will not have a happy ending. You do not know yet, do you? Li Meng and I were together for 2 years. The reason she has not found anyone else is because she cannot forget me, so even if you are with her now, you will never get all of her." He smirked to himself. "What do you say? Feeling disgusted yet?" Shen Yuan looked at him with amusement. "This guy is pretty funny. Is this not the same trick I used to mess with Hao Jun's mind outside the school gate?" In comparison, this bastard's attack is a bit more clumsy. Out loud, Shen Yuan said calmly, "It is fine. I never thought about getting all of her. I am a very content person. Just having her body is enough." The ex's face went pale. His imagination spiraled as he pictured Shen Yuan kissing Li Meng passionately. "What? She and you have already?" Shen Yuan came out of the car and said, "Isn't that obvious?" Lu Bin thought, "I was with Li Meng all through college, 2 years together and never even got anywhere. But this scumbag actually got there first. I always thought she stayed single because she still missed me darn worse than being cheated by a dog." Shen Yuan raised his shades and said, "Counselor, here." Counselor Li Xiao said, "Wait a moment." She came close to Lu Bin and said, "Lu Bin, don't come again. My sister will absolutely never see you again." Lu Bin began to sweat. She then walked toward the G-Wagon and said, "Let's go, Shen Yuan." Shen Yuan said, "Eh? You're not Li Meng's boyfriend. This feels off. Why does it look like you and her sister are a pair too?" "Mind your own business, mate. Haven't you heard of having both sisters? Bye-bye, country bumpkin." As they left, Lu Bin said, "What the... Is this gossip real? Rich people can really do whatever they want, huh? 1 man, 2 sisters serving him darn." A few moments later, Counselor Li Xiao said, "Shen Yuan, what nonsense are you spouting? What do you mean both sisters?" Shen Yuan said, "Counselor, I only said that to stop that idiot from pestering sister-in-law. Otherwise it'd affect your mood through her, right?" Counselor Li Xiao began to sweat and said, "You're twisting words again. Who's your sister-in-law? I haven't agreed to anything yet. But after your stunt, he probably won't bother Li Meng anymore. Without him, maybe she'll move on faster." Shen Yuan said, All right, enough about that buzzkill. Counselor, let's hit IFC Mall, then grab dinner and a movie." Counselor Li Xiao said, "Don't go to IFC, it's too expensive. I can't afford it. Let's just go to Dezikin." Shen Yuan said, "Expensive or not, I'll buy." Counselor Li Xiao said, "No, I don't want to spend your money. You already bought me such an expensive bag." Shen Yuan said, "Actually, my little sister's birthday's coming up. I want to surprise her, so I need your help picking a gift." Counselor Li Xiao said, "Really?" Shen Yuan said, "Course." Counselor Li Xiao said, "But let's be clear. If you try to buy me something too, I won't take it." Shen Yuan said, "Deal." Shen Yuan thought, "Hey, once we're there, I'll find a way for her to accept it anyway." A few moments later, inside Shen Yuan's favorite shop, an attendant said, "Hello, if you like it, you can try it on." Shen Yuan said, Yeah, try it if you like." Counselor Li Xiao said, "Could you please bring this in a small size? The saleslady looked at Councillor Li Xiao's generous chest and thought, with a chest that full, I doubt small fit. Maybe a medium. She took out a dress and said, how about this one? The dress sparkled. The saleslady said, the fitting room's here. Call me if you need help. A few moments later, Councillor Li Xiao called Shen Yuan's phone. He answered. Councillor, what's wrong? Councillor Li Xiao said, Shen Yuan, my zipper's stuck in the back. The saleslady's not here. Can you call her to help me? Shen Yuan stood up excitedly and said, no need to trouble her. I'll help. Wait. He came inside the fitting room and said, turn around, I'll fix it. Councillor Li Xiao covered her chest shyly and said, you, don't come over. She blushed in beauty. Shen Yuan said, relax, I'll just zip it and leave. Councillor Li Xiao showed off her delicate back and said, then hurry. Shen Yuan thought, wow, her back view's stunning. Councillor Li Xiao said, Shen Yuan, help me zip it already. Shen Yuan held her back and zipped it. Pretending to struggle, he said, I know you're anxious, but don't rush me. If I break the dress, we'll have to pay. Councillor Li Xiao said, Shen Yuan, stop that, someone might hear outside. Shen Yuan leaned close to her ear and said in a cracking voice, quick question first. Do you prefer I call you teacher or counselor? Councillor Li Xiao said, neither. On dates, just use my name. She blushed and looked down. Suddenly, her bra strap came undone with a click. Councillor Li Xiao was shocked and said, Shen Yuan. Shen Yuan said, Li Xiao, this is the first time I've said your name like this. Remember this feeling, because I'll remember too. 5 minutes later, Councillor Li Xiao pushed Shen Yuan away and said, stop. If we keep going, I will. Shen Yuan thought, I know. If we push further, it'll cross the line. I'm already hurting from holding back, seriously. It's swollen and painful, but we can't. Not here. Councillor Li Xiao said, just zip it up and go. Shen Yuan said, got it. He pretended to struggle while zipping the dress. Shen Yuan said, Li Xiao, your chest's too big, the medium won't zip either. Councillor Li Xiao pushed him away and said, then why did you... Ugh, Shen Yuan, get out. Shen Yuan stepped out, scratching his head. The saleslady suddenly appeared and said, Miss, does it not fit? Let's try another style. Councillor Li Xiao said, no thanks. As she and Shen Yuan walked away, the saleslady muttered, no? Then fine. Why that face, though? Councillor Li Xiao said, Shen Yuan, if you ever do that again, I'll be really mad. Shen Yuan said, all right, I promise. He held her hand and added with a grin, next time I'll behave. Her heart rating towards Shen Yuan rose to 75. Shen Yuan thought, figures, being shameless about flirting really does raise favour. The saleslady's friend, watching them together, whispered, hey, isn't that Mr. Shen? A new girlfriend already, that's the third one, right? The saleslady said, fourth, actually. Don't forget the first one, Miss Joe. Her friend said, but didn't Miss Joe end up with that other bloke? She hasn't been around in ages. The saleslady sighed and said, every time I see Mr. Shen, I regret choosing Joe back then. She imagined him swiping his sleek black credit card with endless cash, then pressed her face against the glass door and called out, Mr. Shen, bring your new girlfriend in. Give me a chance. I'll serve you wholeheartedly. Her friend muttered, regretting now, huh? Too late. There's no medicine for regret. A few moments later, Shen Yuan said, Li Xiao, let's get hot pot. Councillor Li Xiao said, okay. As they sat down, Shen Yuan said, waiter, 2 bowls of ice soup first, he thought. Thanks to Huiwei's tips, I've leveled up. No need to ask. If she can't drink cold, she'll say so. If she doesn't, then tonight... Heh! A few moments later, the food and hot pot sparkled in deliciousness. Councillor Li Xiao asked, Shen Yuan, summer break's almost here. Do you have any plans? Shen Yuan said, the plan's to spend it with you. Councillor Li Xiao said, come on, I heard the startup base has already finished its selections. Lately your story's been spreading all over the school, so everyone must know you by now, right? Shen Yuan began to sweat and thought, this topic's got to change fast. The more Li Xiao knows, the higher the risk I'll slip. Among the chosen, there are 2 blokes, but the rest are top beauties from school. He said, I don't know. I don't really care about that. By the way, that textbook you gave me before, I've memorized all the key points. Counselor Li Xiao said, all of them. That fast? Shen Yuan said, yeah. I also need to memorize human resource management. You've got that textbook, right? Counselor Li Xiao said, yeah. Shen Yuan said, then I'll come by your place tonight to get it. Counselor Li Xiao said, so soon? Shen Yuan said, since it's for the startup base, I've got to put that knowledge to use. The more I stock up, the better. He thought, actually, Li Xiao's favor went up earlier in the fitting room. I'd better strike while the iron's hot and seal the deal. Counselor Li Xiao said, but you can't mess around at my place, okay? My little sister's home. Shen Yuan said, you know my character. Counselor Li Xiao muttered, there it is again. She looked away, blushing. The waiter arrived with their drinks and said, sir, miss, here are your drinks. Counselor Li Xiao said, cold drinks. I can't have this. Switch mine for something hot. The waiter said, of course, miss. Shen Yuan thought, looks like tonight won't work. Forget it. I'd better raise the favor of the other NPCs. Nana's with her sister-in-law. Hui Wei's got her period. Coach Lu's past 90 favor and climbing fast. That leaves Ding Linji and Long the Junior. I've got to focus on them. Suddenly, Shen Yuan glanced at his phone and saw a message from Long Jinghan. Shen Yuan, what are you doing? I miss you. Shen Yuan smirked at the screen and thought, speak of the devil. Last time I made her cry and still haven't made it up to her. He replied, having dinner. I'll pick you up afterward. Long Jinghan said, okay. Where should I wait? Shen Yuan said, Miss Cafe, I'll send you the time later. He sipped his iced tea and thought, smart junior, she knows she can't go public, so she picks a place nobody can see. Counselor Li Xiao, focused on their date, said, Shen Yuan, are you busy? The food's overcooked. Eat first, work later. Shen Yuan said, something came up. After dinner, I'll send you home. I'll get the materials another day. Counselor Li Xiao said, all right, real business comes first. 1 hour later, Long Jinghan waited outside, dressed in seductive clothes. Long Jinghan climbed into Shen Yuan's G-Wagon and asked softly, Shen Yuan, where are we going? Shen Yuan pretended to be serious and said, a hotel. Long Jinghan looked down sadly, fastening her seatbelt. She thought, after last time the burden's lighter, but being treated like just a tool still stings. If only there could be some real feelings between us. At the hotel room, Shen Yuan ripped open the already torn shirt on Long Jinghan, shocking her. She blushed and whispered, Shen Yuan, could you be gentler tonight? Please, don't treat me like this. She thought, even without a foundation of feelings, being treated this way is just too unfair. Shen Yuan pushed her onto the bed roughly. Shen Yuan, she called weakly, tears welling in her eyes. She thought, this time feels even worse than last time. Shen Yuan began kissing her cheeks while she cried. Then he made up an excuse and said, I just got carried away and tried some role play. Are you all right? He wiped away her tears. Role play? Long Jinghan asked in confusion. Yeah, Shen Yuan said. You know, the domineering bloke and obedient girl type. Long Jinghan started crying again. Why couldn't you tell me first? I thought you were really like that. She actually believed his excuse. Shen Yuan cupped her delicate cheeks and said, next time I'll warn you. But honestly, your reaction was strangely addictive. Long Jinghan sniffled. My clothes are torn. What am I supposed to wear to school tomorrow? Shen Yuan said, relax, I'll have new ones sent. There's no way I'd let my woman be without clothes. Silently she whispered, Shen Yuan, as she felt something small poking her. 2 minutes later. On the bed, Shen Yuan showed off his Chinese phone and said, Junior, check out these new bags and clothes. They'll be delivered to your room first thing tomorrow. Huh? I can really pick from these? Long Jinghan asked. Course, Shen Yuan said, don't worry about the price. Pick whatever you like. She thought, rich people can not only make salesgirls work at 11 o'clock at night, they can shop without even looking at the price. This surreal feeling so strange, yet a sense of achievement. Among all the girls around Shen Yuan, I must be one of the rare few who's actually slept with him, right? Suddenly, Fang Minhui called. Long Jinghan's eyes fell on the caller ID. Can't get enough baby. Shen Yuan cursed inside. Huiwei's actually doing room checks now. Shh, he hissed at Long Jinghan before answering. Hey, Wanbao. Fang Minhui's sweet voice came through. You haven't called me in days. I've been busy. You know how it is, Shen Yuan replied, slipping into the bathroom. But I really miss you. Fang Minhui said. When will you come see me? Didn't you say it's still 2 more days? So probably Monday. He paused. Or Tuesday. Ugh, that long so hard to wait, fine. You'd better behave yourself. Shen Yuan lied smoothly. Long Jinghan, sitting on the bed in her robe, listened with burning cheeks. She thought, he's so attentive to that woman's feelings. Will I ever be treated like that too? Suddenly Shen Yuan called, Hey, come in and help me. Long Jinghan walked into the bathroom nervously, bathrobe clutched around her. Why are you wearing a bathrobe? Shen Yuan sneered. Take it off. Shocked, she blushed, seeing something small. Don't be so rough, she whispered. As the shower ran, Shen Yuan chuckled. Hey, roleplay again. Didn't you learn your lesson? The next morning. Shen Yuan had already left to train with Coach Lu. The saleslady bowed respectfully and asked Long Jinghan, Miss Long, are these to your satisfaction? If not, I'll bring more from the store. No need, thanks. They all fit well, Long Jinghan replied. She thought, these were all sent after Shen Yuan paid, a total of 112,000 yuan. Is this really the life I dreamed of, actually happening? But now that I have them, I realize what I care about more is Shen Yuan's heart. Does he actually feel anything for me? Will he always treat me gently? My feelings are getting complicated. System notification. Because Long Jinghan's favor suddenly rose, spending triggered a 4 times critical hit, gaining 448,000. Shen Yuan smirked to himself. Long the Junior's got such a high crit rate. She's a prime NPC candidate. Excellent. I'd better double down on developing her. Next time, besides role-playing, what else should I play with her? At the gym, Lu Menglu said, It was just being a little late. No need to push yourself this hard, right? Quick, have some water. Shen Yuan flexed his arm strength. A system notification appeared. Weight, 73.2 kilograms. Health, 71. BMI, 20.8. Body fat, 17.5%. Immunity, 71. Brain activity, 72. Shen Yuan drank some bathwater of Lu Menglu and thought while sweating, ugh, after all that fierce effort, the numbers barely changed. Body fat only dropped 0.2%. Weight didn't budge at all. The celebrity experience card task only has half a month left. Looks like I need to speed up my training rhythm. Shen Yuan wiped the bathwater off his mouth and said, Starting tomorrow, I'll crank up the intensity. The meal plan needs some tweaking too. Weight gain still too slow. Liu Menglu said, all right. Shen Yuan said, let's go. Time to shower. A few moments later, in Shen Yuan's room, Liu Menglu sat on Shen Yuan's bed, blushing as she said, Daddy, you're getting more handsome the more I look at you. Wow. Shen Yuan said, You little minx, what sudden compliment's this? Just say it. What do you want this time? Liu Menglu pouted and said, What? Baby's hungry. Shen Yuan smirked and said, Then perform well and you'll be rewarded. Liu Menglu stuck out her tongue and gazed at the tiny soul. Shen Yuan shivered and said, The next day, at the entrepreneurship project signing ceremony in the small auditorium. As Shen Yuan walked in front of the stage, Councillor Li Xiao, sitting in the crowd, smiled like a mother. She thought, This is the first time I've seen him dressed so formally. Totally different from his usual look. What a sharp contrast to those pot-bellied leaders. Her friend beside her said, Teacher Li, your class is impressive. Such a wealthy and handsome student. I heard many girls at school have their eyes on him. Has he found someone yet? Councillor Li Xiao stammered, Probably not. She blushed and broke into a nervous sweat. Her friend teased, Wait a second. Why are you blushing? Councillor Li Xiao said quickly. Me. Am I? As Shen Yuan signed the huge check, her friend smirked. Still denying it. Don't tell me you've fallen for your own student. Councillor Li Xiao said firmly. Course not. Don't talk nonsense. Her friend huffed. The way you looked at him just now could melt sugar. Honestly, you two are a great match. A teacher-student romance isn't that shocking. As Shen Yuan and Principal Xu held the oversized check in front, while the photographers snapped pictures, Principal Xu said, Student Shen, thank you for your generous support. Shen Yuan replied, Principal Xu, you're too kind. After all, I grew up here at International Studies. It's only right that I give back. Principal Xu said, Besides this project, the school launch other initiatives later. If suitable, I hope you'll continue to cooperate with us. Shaking Shen Yuan's hand, Shen Yuan replied, If the projects are good, I'll naturally consider it. Principal Xu then turned to the reporters. Photographers, focus on capturing Shen Yuan. Write more columns about him too. Remember, we need to shape him as the pride of international studies. Understood. Principal Xu, a photographer, said. Shen Yuan waved, though he muttered inwardly. Looks like Vice Principal Xu is laying the groundwork for later. But does he really think I'm that easy to exploit? If it weren't for the prestige task tied to Tongzi's father and the school beauties here, I wouldn't have bothered investing in this base at all. Later, Principal Xu asked Teacher Dong, Does Shen Yuan currently hold any other position? Teacher Dong said, No, he only handles the entrepreneurship base. Principal Xu nodded. All right, then make him the benchmark. Award him this year's model student title and also nominate him for top 10 university students. Teacher Dong objected. But his grades are terrible. He's barely attended this semester. He'll definitely fail his classes. Principal Xu waved it off. That's not an issue. These awards aren't only about grades. Ability's just as important. Students like him can influence both inside the school and in intercollegiate competition. Teacher Dong sighed. Principal, you've got vision. Principal Xu cut him off. Carry it out at once. As Shen Yuan left the auditorium, Zhan Yani chased after him. Student Shen. Wait a moment. She showed her phone and ID card. I'm Zhan Yani, an intern reporter from Xingcheng Television. At the end of this month, we're running a special on outstanding university students in Xingcheng. I'd like to invite you to participate. Would you be interested? Shen Yuan said calmly. Leave me your contact info first. I'll see then. But inside, he thought, my counselor's here. If she misunderstands me with this female reporter, things could go badly. I need to avoid suspicion. He waved and said, Let's handle the details over WeChat. I need to go now. Shen Yuan, will you join me for dinner? Zhan Yani asked hopefully. No need. I've got things tonight. Goodbye, Shen Yuan said. As he walked away, he thought with relief, Phew, that was close. Zhan Yani blushed, covering her mouth with her Chinese phone. From a distance, Councillor Li Xiao and her gossiping friend had seen and heard everything. Councillor Li Xiao's friend whispered, Teacher Li, your student doesn't seem to be a flirt. A pretty reporter invited him to dinner, and he refused. Councillor Li Xiao quietly smiled to herself, satisfied. A few moments later, Fu Yingzi presented a document to Shen Yuan. Boss, after yesterday's second-round exam, here's the list of those admitted into the entrepreneurship base. Long Jinghan served as the accountant, while Fu Yingzi acted as the secretary. She continued, There are 2 male students, Yan Song and Mo Zhenwang, and 5 female students. Final year dance performer Shi Jishuan, flight attendant Major Peng Yoyun, freshman from Xinjiang Aisha, cosplayer and Japanese major Lu Xinyu, and the ethnic beauty Qiao Li, and discussed with junior Jinghan. Fu Yingzi added, The equity distribution should follow 3 steps. Long Jinghan elaborated, You, as the investor, will hold 70%. Student entrepreneurs hold 30%. After payback, 20% of shares will be transferred to students at project valuation. Once your profit reaches 5 times your initial investment, another 20% will be transferred at project valuation. The final ratio will be students 70%, investor 30%. Shen Yuan thought, I invested in this base mainly to expand the school's reputation. I never expected to profit much from the projects themselves. This share distribution can motivate students to work hard. That's enough. And most importantly, harvesting these 5 flowers, that's killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Today I've got a meeting with Lu Xinyu from the Japanese department, correct? Shen Yuan asked. Fu Yingzi saluted playfully. Yes, I'll bring her in now. Moments later, Lu Xinyu entered the room with elegance. Hello, Shen Yuan. Shen Yuan's imagination ran wild, picturing himself on a late-night date with her. Darn, such a refined, mature senior. Hard to keep my emotions in check. Hello, Shen Yuan. Lu Xinyu smiled and waved, but Shen Yuan was still stunned, frozen in place. Lu Xinyu blinked and frowned slightly. Hey, Shen Yuan. Shen Yuan jolted up. Yes, senior. Please don't stand. Let's sit and talk over there. They both moved to the couch. Your entrepreneurship plan's a campus supermarket, right? And you aim to eventually expand off campus into a chain, like Amazon? Shen Yuan asked. That's kind of my dream, Lu Xinyu admitted softly. Then why do you think Amazon was so successful? I'd like to hear your opinion, Shen Yuan pressed. Lu Xinyu thought for a moment before answering. I think it's all about profit sharing. The boss was willing to give employees a slice of the cake, which built a good reputation. Against competitors, they relied on low prices, good service, and solid employee benefits. Those 3 killed the competition. Ah, I see Senior's done her homework. This case is even covered in Hong Kong's Executive Master of Business Administration program, Shen Yuan mused to himself. But now's the time for me to show off a little, he said aloud. That's right. Not only competition, but also service management, corporate culture, their supply chain, even government support. They had the perfect timing and environment. But replicating that in other cities is really difficult. Lu Xinyu hummed with interest. Shen Yuan leaned in slightly. But your idea's bold. We can try slowly. By the way, since you study Japanese, why not consider translation work or joining a foreign enterprise? Lu Xinyu lowered her gaze. Actually, my parents chose this major for me. They both work in Japanese companies. I didn't really understand back then, so I just picked it. And how's your Japanese now? Shen Yuan asked. I've got the Japanese language proficiency test, the Japanese test for practical proficiency, and I also passed the advanced Japanese proficiency exam. So basically you can communicate normally with Japanese natives? Shen Yuan asked with a grin. Most daily conversations are no problem, she replied confidently. Perfect, Shen Yuan thought. First, Senior's personal qualities are strong. Second, once our relationship deepens, she could be the bridge for expanding into Japan. When that time comes, roaming in a world full of cherry blossom girls, the happiness would be unimaginable. Zhang stormed into the dorm room and said, Lao Huang, Lao Kao, I still can't figure it out. Why was my project rejected, but Yan Song's got approved? Lao Huang asked, What was your project again? Zhang replied, a lingerie shop with so many international couples around campus. The market's huge. Lao Huang looked at him and said, Are you out of your mind? Opening a lingerie shop on campus? Seriously, who'd even dare walk in there? Who'd have the nerve for that? Lao Kao sighed and said, Honestly, it's not really about your idea. Getting into Third Brother's startup base depends more on gender. Zhang frowned. But if Shen Yuan only picks girls, then how did Yan Song and that other bloke get in? Lao Sao smirked. Are you foolish? Those 2 are obviously just fillers, Zhang protested. If that's the case, then why couldn't I be one of those filler spots? Lao Huang muttered. Hopeless, honestly. Zero self-awareness. Even Lao Kao and I didn't make it. You think it's your turn? What a fool. Lao Kao suddenly showed off his phone and said, Hey, check out the school's official post. It's about Third Brother signing that deal with the principal. Gotta say, with the new look, he's kind of pulling off that decent vibe now. Lao Huang snorted. Tisk. Ever since third brother got himself the right to court every girl on campus, he's forgotten all about. He hasn't been back to the dorm in ages. Zhang wiped his sweat and said, If I were him, I wouldn't come back either. What's the point of hanging out with blokes? Dating new girls every day beats this any time. Honestly though, Lao Kao added, if he showed up at the dorm now, every bloke from every class had turned green with envy. Lao Huang blinked. Huh? Why? Zhang looked back at him. The startup incubator shortlist. He's got the 5 campus goddesses under his wing. How many nerds' dreams just got crushed? Lao Huang whistled softly. Third brother's really playing wild. Lao Kao chuckled. If you had his money, you'd probably go even wilder. That darn third brother. Who knows how good he's got it now? In Shen Yuan's office, Shen Yuan sat on the couch beside Lu Xinyu and thought, We'll cross that bridge when we get there. First step, got to build a good relationship with that senior. He leaned closer and said, Say something in Japanese for me. Lu Xinyu blushed. Shen Yuan, what exactly do you want to hear? Anything, he said with a smile. I'm fine with whatever. She tucked her hair behind her ear and said softly, Konnichiwa. What does that mean? He asked. It means hello. Another one. Arigato. And that? It means thank you. More, he teased. Tsuzukete kudasai. Shen Yuan leaned in closer. Huh? What's that? Lu Xinyu hesitated. It means, keep going. Say something more interesting, he whispered. Lu Xinyu's face turned red as she looked down and said in a trembling voice, Ah, I see. You probably want to hear those lines from those kinds of movies, don't you? Hey, you really know your stuff, senior, Shen Yuan said with a grin. Go on then, let's hear one. Lu Xinyu's voice turned small. Yamete yo, Shen Yuan thought. Now that's the I swear, if a Chinese bloke ever heard that in real life, that kind of buff would drive him insane. As his imagination drifted with naughty thoughts of Lu Xinyu, he added inwardly, And the senior seems totally into it. Things are going smoother than I thought. Lu Xinyu looked away, blushing deeply. Okay, senior, Shen Yuan said, standing up. Let's sign the contract. Secretary, you can come in now. A few moments later, Fu Yingzi entered and said, According to Jinghan's calculations, Senior Lu Xinyu's project investment totals 220,000 yuan. Long Jinghan smiled and presented the contract. Fu Yingzi continued, Please sign here. Lu Xinyu nodded. Got it. Shen Yuan glanced at the beautiful girls and thought, We'll have to wait and see how things play out. Got to check the senior's execution skills next. A mechanical voice echoed in his mind. Congratulations, host. You have completed the 10 million investment. Reward is being issued. Shen Yuan's eyes widened. Whoa! System Daddy's rewards? What is it going to be? Suddenly nervous. Host has obtained 100% ownership of Jingfu Health Management Company, Limited, in Xincheng City. Subsidiaries include 2 health screening centers, 3 fitness clubs, and 1 yoga studio. Shen Yuan smiled in disbelief. Holy cow! System Daddy, you're awesome. That's insanely generous. An entire company just dropped into my lap. A few moments later, Fang Minhui sent a message. Shen Yuan, I miss you again. Shen Yuan chuckled to himself. Hey, we really can't get enough. Every few days she's craving it again. He typed a reply. All right, meet you at the cafe. At Fang Minhui's room, Cheng Ling said, Minhui off to see Shen Yuan again. Minhui answered, blushing as she picked a dress from her wardrobe. Hey, Cheng Ling said, did you see the incubator shortlist? 5 gorgeous girls. Have you ever thought about going public with your relationship? Fang Minhui smiled faintly and thought, That doesn't matter to me. I don't really care. Shen Yuan must have his reasons for keeping it private. Since being with him, I've realized he's not like other blokes. Behind all that joking around, there's a maturity far beyond his age. He's never said exactly what he plans to do, but I can feel it. He's destined for something big. And I really like that about him. Cheng Ling said, Minhui dear, goodness gracious, if I were a bloke, I'd fall for you right here. I'm so jealous of Shen Yuan, he's winning again today. As Fang Minhui put on her black stockings, she showed off her elegant curves and said playfully, Hey, stop it! A few moments later, Shen Yuan walked toward his G-Wagon, when Yu Ping suddenly called out, Shen Yuan, where are you headed? Can we tag along? Shi added, We're going to Zhenhua Street. Can you give us a... Shen Yuan looked back, visibly annoyed, and thought, What's with these girls? Are they seriously that shameless? First the cafe, then the auditorium. Haven't I been clear enough? Do they still have illusions? Guess I'll have to be even more obvious, he said flatly. Sorry, I'm not going by Zhenhua Street. Then he slammed the door. Yu Ping frowned and said, Would it really kill you to give us a ride? Shi sighed. Ah, that's a billionaire for you. Won't even look our way. Yu Ping muttered to herself, If Shen Yuan's a mountain, then I'm stuck at the base. I can't even find the path up. This is the first time in my life I felt this helpless and defeated. Meanwhile, Shen Yuan thought, No time for random flings. After I'm done with Huiwei, I need some alone time to plan things out. System Daddy gave me exactly what I wanted, a health industry. Plus, I've got Coach Lu around, a top-tier talent. I'm sure getting started won't be hard. My reputation and influence at school are growing fast. There's even a television interview invitation from Xingcheng News. It feels like things are branching out, but it's still not enough. Using Jingfu Health as a starting point, making waves in the business world, and chasing big dreams. That's what a real tycoon should do. But I can't bite off more than I can chew. I've got to take it step by step. For today, though, the first order of business, cure Huiwei's lovesickness. A few moments later, Shen Yuan stepped out of his G-Wagon and said, Huiwei says she needs a bit more time. I'll grab a coffee while I wait. As he opened the door to the coffee shop, he saw Xinyu and Xiaoqiu talking together. Xinyu, get me a cappuccino, Shen Yuan said. Oh, okay, brother-in-law, Xinyu replied shyly. She then turned to Xiaoqiu and whispered, Can you keep an eye on me? I'm scared I'll mess up. Huh? Xiaoqiu blinked. Then she thought, Why are you stuttering and blushing around your own brother-in-law? Goodness, with our boss's reputation, could it really be like that? She began sweating nervously and muttered under her breath, Man, rich families sure are complicated. A few moments later in the coffee shop, Xinyu brought a cup of coffee to Shen Yuan and said, But brother-in-law, would you like to try some? It's my first time making this. Shen Yuan replied, Thanks. He took a sip and said, Not bad at all. For a first attempt, this is really good. Xinyu blushed and said, I also learned how to make the American style. Would you like to try that too? Shen Yuan said, No thanks, I won't be able to sleep tonight. Xinyu tilted her head and muttered softly to herself, What's brother-in-law talking about? Can't sleep? Coffee? Oh, right, it's coffee. Then she said aloud, Sis, brother-in-law, I'll go attend to my work now. Shen Yuan replied, Oh. That evening, Fang Minhui sent a message to Shen Yuan, saying, Shen Yuan, I'm here. A few moments later, they met in the room. Fang Minhui moved close to him and said, Yuan baby, I missed you so much. Shen Yuan, sitting on the bed, said, I missed you too. Fang Minhui pouted playfully and said, But you probably didn't miss me as much as I missed you, right? Shen Yuan smiled and replied, How could that be? I miss everything about you. Fang Minhui teased, You just miss my body, don't you? Shen Yuan said, Your body's also a part of you, so saying I miss everything about you is completely valid. Fang Minhui giggled and said, You're so bad, Bee, could you go easy on me today? I'm afraid I won't be able to walk tomorrow. Shen Yuan hugged her gently and said, All right, don't worry, I'll be gentle. A few minutes later, Shen Yuan finished. The next morning, he saw a note on the bed and, Note, Yuan baby, sleep a bit more. I've got morning classes, so I'm leaving first. Shen Yuan thought, Usually Huiwei's so possessively intense, but she didn't even mention the startup base thing this time. Seems like she's grown up, become more mature. This is good. Let me go check out Jingfu Health. That system Daddy gave me. That afternoon, at Jingfu Health, the chief financial officer, Sister Lu, murmured to herself, 2 days ago, our former boss, Shi Wenquan, cashed out and left. The new boss is about to move in with his own team. Those of us still here might have to pack up and leave at any time. The general manager thought, wonder who the new boss will axe first. As Shen Yuan walked alongside Shi Wenquan, Sister Lu whispered, is that the new boss next to President Xi? Another employee muttered quietly, so young. Looks like he's only in his 20s. The general manager frowned and said under his breath, and he just bought such a large company. Shi Wenquan, the former owner of Jingfu Health, stood before the staff and said, everyone, you've all received the notice. I'll be leaving the Jingfu family. Thank you all for your support over these years. He gestured towards Shen Yuan and continued, this is your new boss, Shen Yuan. I hope everyone will continue working hard under his leadership. I believe Jingfu will definitely have an even brighter tomorrow. He added, next, President Shen will hold a meeting with everyone. I've got some matters to attend to, so I'll take my leave. Shen Yuan stepped forward and said, nice to meet everyone. I'm Shen Yuan. Today's just a handover meeting. No other work arrangements for now. Except for the Human Resources Director and the Chief Financial Officer, who should stay, everyone else may return to their stations. Jingfu Health Human Resources Director Zhong Yu asked, President Shen, what are your instructions? Shen Yuan replied, I need the company's financial statements for the past 3 months, as well as the monthly human resources reports. Zhong Yu said, all right, we'll send the reports to your email right away. President Shen, any other instructions? Shen Yuan asked, how long have Director Zhong and Director Lu been with the company? Director Zhong replied, I've been here for over 5 years. Sister Lu said, I just reached 3 years. Shen Yuan nodded and said, I see. You may go. He sat down, pulled out his Chinese phone, and began checking through the reports with a calm expression. He said to himself, managing a company mainly comes down to 2 things, personnel authority and financial authority. I need to observe these 2 executives first to see if they're reliable. But still, key positions must be filled with my own people. Shen Yuan called Fu Yingzi and said, Secretary. Fu Yingzi answered her phone and said, Boss, your Shen Yuan said, the startup base project's basically complete. The follow-up work can be handed over to Long Jinghan, who's more professionally suited for it. Come work at my company, Jingfu Health, tomorrow. Fu Yingzi thought, so Shen Yuan really does have other businesses outside. He's hidden it pretty deep. Fu Yingzi said, wait, boss, I still have half a month before summer vacation. I've got classes every day. Shen Yuan said, just don't fail your exams. Besides, don't you start your internship next October? You can start early now. Don't you want to challenge yourself for a higher position? Planning to be a secretary forever? Fu Yingzi said, let me prepare. Boss, send me the company address. I definitely won't be late tomorrow. Shen Yuan thought, the 3 months of financial statements and monthly human resources reports are here. Let me take a look. The 2 fitness centers and yoga studios are quite profitable. Even the worst performing medical examination center can maintain break-even. The company's problem is personnel redundancy. Too many slackers. Also, the monthly online marketing and promotion costs are too high. But this isn't a big problem. Before fully grasping all aspects of the company, there's no need for drastic reforms. After all, the company's profitable now. The main thing is to ensure smooth transitions for key positions. Company matters are about settled. Let me go to Guanting to pick up Su Zhuwei from work. I haven't seen that silly girl for over a week. I wonder how she's been lately. Shen Yuan walks to his G-Wagon and said, why is no one answering the phone? What's going on? Fu Zhengmei answered the phone and said, President Shen. Zhuwei? She took leave an hour ago to go home. She said there was a family emergency. Shen Yuan said, did she say what kind of emergency? Fu Zhengmei said, no, I called her later but she didn't answer. Shen Yuan immediately goes to Su Shewei's place. As he heard Auntie Zheng saying, It's just a little water leak. What's the big deal? It'll stop leaking in a bit. Making such a fuss. Another said, Auntie Zheng, your usual harsh words are one thing, but now you've done wrong and are still so self-righteous. Auntie Zheng said, what did I do wrong? Whose home hasn't had a water leak? Is having a water leak doing something wrong? The neighbor said, your home leaked water and you didn't come down to notify anyone or deal with it. When little G went up to tell you, you even scolded him. Is this how you behave? Shen Yuan was shocked as he looks at the commotion. Zheng Lanfeng pointed at Su Jingyi and said, this kid knocked on the door without any greeting, no manners at all. What's wrong with me scolding him on behalf of his dead father? Auntie Zheng said, you? Su Zhuwei held Auntie Zhang back and said, Auntie Zhang, forget it. Auntie Zheng said, if we let this go, she'll be even worse next. Su Zhuwei said, forget it. We really don't want to pursue this. Auntie Zheng said, apologize to the child. The child did nothing wrong. Zheng Lianfeng said, apologize? Are you joking? Why should I apologize? Shen Yuan said, apologize to the child. Su Zhuwei was shocked and confused as she said, Shen Yuan. Zheng Lianfeng sneered, I won't apologize, so what? You haven't even married her yet and you're already so eager to defend her. Could it be that you two already have a de facto marriage? Young people really know how to have fun. Shen Yuan said coldly, you scolded the child. You should apologize to the child. Suddenly Auntie Jing's son shouted, who the fudge is pretending here? He continued, what are you, making my mum apologize? As he walked toward Shen Yuan, he pushed him back and said, you little... But Shen Yuan didn't even move an inch, only millimeters. Then, without warning, Shen Yuan suddenly punched him squarely in the face. Auntie Zheng, Su Zhuwei, and Zheng Lianfeng were all shocked and confused. Thank you for watching Rebirth Genesis. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you will not miss the next chapter of the journey. Your support keeps this rebirth going strong. Until next time, stay sharp and keep rising beyond your limits.